We are live. Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. It's Monday night, which means it's Age Sigmar night, and it's the most exciting night of the week, apart from Thursdays and also Tuesday's stat show. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm joined by my Monday show host, Mr. Nathan Prescott.
Hello, hello.
And also Mr. Simon Speccles.
Hello, hello.
You might only be able to see one of them at a time because of the dodge camera angle, but we apologise about that. Hello everyone live on Twitch. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. And if you listen to the podcast, please stay hydrated. Hope you're all well. Bon Clodger says, Nathan, you're looking shiny. No, Hawkeye says, Nathan, you're looking shiny.
More makeup that's what needed.
Yeah, Dino Titan Edition, hello. Hello Scrivo, hello Hook and Pin. Everyone in the chat, Mad Sheen on Nathan. Datcom. Everyone very excited about seeing Jet. Can we see Jet, please?
I would, but you just took my screen away. So
There he is. Huh?
I can't see.
Oh, that's okay. I can fix that.
You fix that. You show
but there
Jet.
he
It
is.
should be showing.
There he is. Our true show host of Monday Night Show, Jet the dog. And I'm pretty certain Simon is going to give us use our new fancy cams.
I mean, if he'd move his head away from the mic, great.
Jet, what's this?
Jet. There we go.
Oh, no, that's you've ruined it. No, it's okay. We can follow him.
We can follow him.
We can track him.
I mean,
There we go.
there we go. Perfect.
There you go, buddy. The superstar himself. So unfortunately, Jet's not very well at the minute. Nathan, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so he's got a lump on his back, which has turned out to be a mass cell.
I mean, I don't know if we should use the camera to go to the lump.
No, not Thought maybe not on that one.
But it doesn't look great. Yeah, so he ended up having some bacteria in there that was resistant to antibiotics, and then so that was sorted out finally, and now it's turned out that there's also a tumor in there. So yeah, so he's not a happy chappy at the moment. But he's got an operation booked in for Thursday. Have that chopped off.
Yeah, he is. I've also heard, as Denise is saying, we are actually also going to. This is optional. So we set up on the Honest Wargame. We set up a GoFundMe to get him his operation done ASAP because the quicker it takes longer, and you all just sorted it out in about 4 hours. Yeah. So you guys are wonderful. All of you around the world, wonderful people. For our show host himself there, but actually, we've actually got a little bit over. We got £5 over. So I've heard that we're taking his back legs off and we're going to turn him into wheels. Is that correct?
The ultimate AOS coach.
Yeah, are we gonna,
The Jet coach.
Is it true that we are going to give him some bionic legs and he's going to carry dice around for people?
He's going to be $1 million dog.
The power to leap moderately tall buildings.
Okay, £5 dog.
£5 dog.
Because that's all we got.
But thank you to everyone.
No, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah?
So,
Oh my God, Nath, can I make you cry?
yeah, fuck off.
Oh! Let me just zoom this camera in. Wait a minute.
But Nathan, another question. If we attached a cart to him and we got him to pull something, maybe Jet could be the best chariot in Age of Sigmar.
That's just what I've said.
No, only if we attach a chariot to him and not a cart.
Anyway, you guys are wonderful, and I know this isn't Age of Sigmar related, but Jet's been on the show since day one. He's snored into the microphone. He's
Not as loud as you.
No, he's knocked the microphone about 1 million times. He has done. The entire office is covered in horrible. Oi! Stop licking it.
And now he's just about to disconnect your camera.
But anyway, I don't think the show. And also, Donald Ian says we did it for Jet, not for you, Nathan.
That's good.
Yeah, so big shout out and thank you, and we'll move on from that. But you guys are wonderful. Thanks. Appreciate those. Jet, do you want to say goodbye?
Jet.
No, you just lie there. That's fine. But yeah, superstar. Dweller's Blow says, get well soon, Jet, our favourite Rage of Sigmar host. Yeah. It's been really cool, actually. The response, obviously, everyone's wonderful. So I was actually thinking, because we've been the beneficiary of not only the wonderful camera money, but also everyone's just helped out with a poor doggo. I was actually thinking that the thing that I might do on the Honest Wargamer is because we've got a couple of weekdays free, specifically Tuesday evening free. Now, we were in the future going to plan to do like gaming nights and record those, and that's still part of the plan. But I thought, like, as a give back to the community, because you guys have been amazing, what I might do, and it might be a couple of weeks before I start this, is we might do like a Tuesday night show where what we'll do is we'll set up an email where people can email in all the things that are happening around the world that aren't necessarily that are Warhammer community related. Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, he's posing for me like
He's
a
a
one
little
of
cutie.
my
that
glamour shoots.
Warhammer community related, but they aren't necessarily like to do with gaming because we're pretty gaming and orientated. And then we could just kind of like do shout outs, and then it'd be like a community show where it's just like, well,
Everyone's
Steve,
awesome.
Yeah, Steve over in wherever is cooking, is baking cookies. I know for a fact. I just want to do a shout out actually while we're there on that subject. That
I can do one too.
Oh, go on then. You do yours.
I've got to find it first.
All right, you don't do yours then. You're rubbish.
Well, you're finding yours. I didn't know about this, so you know.
Yeah, I want to shout out Dry July for Sneaky Stabber, the Goon Boss. So he's called the Goon Boss, which is effectively the alcohol boss. Yeah, and he's given up alcohol for the whole of July to help out with some people in the community over in New Zealand. So just things like that. So I'll put the link in the show notes for you guys to listen. But it's just wicked, and I probably, because everyone keeps giving to us, we should probably like do something else to give to the community. So I thought that would be a fun show to do as well. Yeah. Plus it makes us look good. Yeah, let's be real. Everyone will be like, those guys are really nice.
Nice people.
Aren't they nice
is the best
people?
way.
And then we can just be really scathing on all the other shows. Yeah. You'll be like, no, you're a fucking prick.
But to be back to the nice, I sent this in a chat. I saw it on Facebook. Somebody called Dustin Valance had put it on a group chat, and I thought it was awesome. So he's got into my local shop, and the owner says he has something for me. Someone in the group, wherever they are, brought him 2 terror guys anonymously just because he loved them and he knows he's broke. I was like, that's pretty awesome, really.
That is pretty awesome.
That's just amazing.
And there's a lot, like a lot of us run away from the shit in the world, and that's what our hobby's for. Yeah. So I thought it would be cool doing a big old show where we just talk about all the good shit that happens every week, and that's the whole purpose of it. And it's just like cute as hell, and it lifts up your spirits in your day. And then you can listen to the Monday show, and you can listen to Simon say "Flush It Courts" 9 times, and then we can all fucking get back to reality.
They are so friendly, so lovely. The Flash Eater Courts.
So you guys are wonderful. So I just want to say, anyway, let's fucking move on. Anyway, Nathan and Simon. Nathan, how are you? And also Twitch chat, how are you? Paul Bastian Games, I see you there, you gorgeous man. Paul Bastian says, bring him to Ireland. He will love a Guinness.
Who? Nathan
Jet.
or Jet?
Who's currently asleep. Wait, Nathan, is it also his painkillers? Aren't we pretty sure he's high as shit as well?
Yeah, he's pretty much. Yeah, he's on some painkiller stuff, so I think he is pretty.
His eyes are a little bit
pretty fucked up. Jeez, lucky little bastard.
He's looking at this green
for 2 weeks.
Look at the grass table going, wow, this grass feels so good.
I want to say hi to Tugboat K and Hawkeye and all you guys. Please continue. How's your week been, Nath?
Been good. Can't think of much Warhammer stuff that I've been up to. Just managed a 2,000 point game with the old Ironjaws, Bloodtooths.
So bent right now.
They are fucking great.
Well, talking about what Ironjaws.
I've just told you this.
What are you about to tell me about? A 4 out of 5 with Ironjaws for old Hook and Pin.
That'd be the one.
So Hook and Pin, one of our show moderators, but 2 of our show moderators actually were playing at the Warhammer World Doubles this weekend.
Obviously more bent than fact.
Yeah, Mr. Chucklebutty TV, who was dressed as a ninja for the entire weekend.
Yeah, that was the most discerning thing to see in my life.
Do you know what discerning means?
Well,
Did you mean disturbing?
Disturbing, that's what I meant. I went with it after.
Or disconcerting.
Disturbing was the one I meant, but I just went with it and said that. I was like, I'll keep going, and you pulled me out like a dick. Looking across the tables and seeing Seb doing this into his pouch, rolling his dice, and then lifting the pouch up and seeing that turtles have camel toes as well. Not something you ever want to see across the table at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not nice.
I like how you said they've got camel toes. That's so telling. I just want to read out a story from LOV. It says 49, a 40k player, a fellow at a local club in Calgary, got his Tau army robbed off the train. He was gutted. The club had him a new army bought within a week. Got a wonderful community, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically the whole purpose of
I mean, I had a message from somebody. And here we go. This is great.
So this is what the Tuesday
great
night's
radio.
like.
Here we go. It is great radio. Gitley also said big love to chat.
Basically, he said, I was just saying how overwhelming all the love and generosity is from the community, and he says it's great to see, but I'm not surprised. So
Yeah, wonderful. Dwellers Below says Stone Jet still better at AOS than Speccles. Inmax says, why has Nathan got his blood on his shirt? Nathan, what are
that
you
is
doing?
a bit. What is this?
Jesus. High Par UK, which was your
Yes.
doubles partner this weekend. We'll talk about that in a bit. But hello. El Capitan says, hello. And Moon Tyrannid.
Jet, you can be one of my glamour girls whenever you want. It's fine.
Right, okay, that's good. And what else have you done for
yeah.
us?
So I had a game with the Ironjaws against an Ardeneth Deepkin list, which has been doing quite well, and just really fast. Pinned him to the backboard edge first turn, and just kept him on the back foot the whole game, and managed to get a win. It's just great. Yeah,
they just go so fast now.
So you get the mighty destroyers being a command point now is just really good. I went in with the Bloodtooth, so I had 2 command points from the battalions. I also went in 50 points. I bought a command point for 50 points and took the 8th Quartz Brooch because it is a command point hungry army. You still want to get stacks and wars, but then you also want to be able to use mighty destroyers to move
For the movement.
Yeah, so you get a move in the hero phase. So basically, I moved the Maw Crusher and a unit of the Gore Grunters after I'd cast Cogs, so they had +2 to their move. So he moved 14 inches in the hero phase. The Gore Grunters moved 11. Then I rolled and then I teleported Hannah Gawked a unit of Ard Boys up 9 away from a load of things. Then I rolled for my Iron Fist move, rolled a 5, so it meant the Ard Boys could then move 4 inches away after the teleport. The Gore Grunters were now moving.
It's okay.
Yeah, then moved an extra 5, still in the hero phase. This before they've made their normal movement. Then they would move 11 again in the movement phase because of that. And even just the average Ard Boys and Brutes were moving 11.
We're getting a question. You can spam Mighty Destroyers, right? You can do it more than once.
Not per unit.
Not per unit,
So
but
it's once per unit.
But you can do it to multiple
Yeah,
units.
you can do it to multiple units.
Yeah.
So basically, the Maw Crusher dude was moving. He can move twice, so he can move 28 inches, and then charge, and he's got +4 to charge. And then
Is that with cogs or normal?
That's with cogs, and then the Ard Boys have got +6 to charge. So even if they don't do the move after they've done the teleport, they're still needing
Still gonna get in anyway.
Virtually, they're in anyway. So just great.
Wow.
Okay.
Just yeah.
But you enjoyed them, and you think that.
Really.
Another
good
question
fun.
from LLV. Big shout out to LLV. Missed you, buddy. Can't wait to talk to you again soon. He asks, "What do you think the biggest change is to the Ironjaws, based on your game this week?"
Well, I mean, they've made the rules better and the points cheaper. So
Welcome to my world.
All right, good. Good. All right, sweet. Right, next up, Simon, how's your week been?
Week's been
Twitch
alright.
chat, how's yours week
Yeah,
been as
not
well?
bad. I played quite a few games of Warhammer this week.
Nice. You were at the doubles event this
I was
weekend.
at the doubles, yeah, with the Mighty Par. So it was Simon Says for the weekend. It's quite cool.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, why? And I didn't realise both of us call Simon. Because it's always Speckles and Par instead of Simon and Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did alright. Won 2 whole games.
Well,
2 whole games.
that's fantastic. And you were using
Oh, nothing really.
Flesh Eater Course and
Seraphon.
Oh,
Seraphon
cute.
are really cool now.
they are
They
haven't
caught
changed.
a lot of people. No, the double teleport's really, really good.
well the more reliable double
Well,
teleport.
it's auto.
Yeah, that's why it's more reliable.
Yeah. It was so good just going on teleport there. I'm going to whack you with an end of spell. I'm going to hit you with something else. And I'm going to put him all the way back to the side of the board. Yeah, it was quite fun. Yeah, we did all right. I think first ever doubles tournament and we come 28th. So, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I think I'll take, well, depending on whether I can fit any feck in 1,000 points after next week. Depends on whether I take it to the next doubles. But
It did look like a really fun event, and I know that because Hayley Bromley, by the way, because we met up with a bunch of Saturday night. We all went out in Nottingham
did,
City Centre.
yeah.
We went out with everyone from Daneland. They tried to tell me where they're from.
The
They're from a
Netherlands.
Nordic country that's not
Netherlands.
France. Huh?
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands, sure.
Denmark.
Hayloft
Denmark owns one of them, but no, it's Netherlands.
Wait, they're from the Netherlands.
Yes.
But so that makes
So
them Danish.
They're not Danish if they're from the Netherlands. They're Dutch.
Yeah,
They were
but
from Denmark.
They're Dutch.
No, they
No.
were they were from Denmark.
No, they're from the
You have to
Netherlands.
talk into a
and-
microphone,
Yeah, they were from
James.
Netherlands.
They
but I'm
were
sure
from-
We'll
Oh
find
my
out. They watch
God.
the chat because
One of them was great because he was introducing himself to you, and you just said you didn't hear his name. You just started calling him Lucifer. It was great.
Yeah, well, he was like, I was like, I'm sure that's what you just said, but yeah, that's
Oh
fine.
my god, it's so complicated.
Yeah, but apparently they watched the show because they went, "Oh, I know you. You're that one who's really bad at Warhammer." I'm like, it's always nice to know that. You know, yeah, move over. Come a bit closer. Yeah. So they knew that I was the shit person at Warhammer. So they went, "Yeah, I know you. You're shit." Thanks. It's nice to know that. First ever tournament in the UK.
Yes, because I saw that it was their first tournament
Yeah.
ever, and they travelled over
That
for
was
it.
great. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
what I
great.
wanted to go to as well, the doubles.
I know.
Yeah, Aiden Mac says, Aiden Mac, what did you shut up? Speckles is what he says.
Eddie can't say anything because Eddie didn't turn up this weekend.
Hey Devious2K says Holland equals Netherlands equals Dutch. It makes perfect sense. They did draw me a map and I didn't understand it. Anyway,
Yeah, so we hung out with them, the
scribes.
WS10 guys and the scribes. Yeah, it was.
yeah, and also and we all went out. We went to a couple of bars and we went to Rock City and did some dancing, which was great. And some of them are fantastic dancers that I was not expecting.
I cannot dance.
That you cannot, but you tried, which is the most important thing.
I'm just terrible.
No, that,
It was great though. When we went,
everyone's bad at dancing, man. Like you just
I
gotta
mean,
just go with it.
I kind of know one thing now. I
No one
know
puts baby in the corner.
you dance slightly like a Tasmanian devil.
You haven't seen me dancing
not
before.
the cartoon one, not a real one, the proper cartoon one.
This is why it makes me upset. Everyone's like, Darren's the best dancer in Age of Sigmar. I'm like,
Oh no, the skills you're pulling out.
I've been a nightclub promoter for 12 years at least. I'm a fantastic dancer.
I mean,
I'll have
you need a
know.
lot of room.
Yeah, you do. That's true. Heinrad says he's also I think he's in a hotel room somewhere doing some painting. Big love to you. Moon Tyrannid, seeing you. Tugboat K, he thinks Scribes is in Kent or Canterbury, which it basically is.
Your geography is literally horrific.
So the doubles event happened this weekend. As a quick piece of news, in Nottingham, it looked like there were loads of people. It looked hot as hell.
So where I was playing, it was really quite hot at the top because I mean, there's 186 people in the event. Plus, it was Warhammer Day, so then we were loads of people coming for that.
It was also very hot.
Yes. So the top end was hot, but if you play really shit the first few games, you get on the bottom end, and there's a massive fan. So it was really nice and cool.
The first few games, like they're 10 minutes. It's 2.5 hours per one.
Yeah, we did really shit first game, so we went straight to the bottom. So
right, perfect.
The next three, there was loads of fans, so it was lovely.
Oh, right,
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
but it did look like a cracking event, and I would actually argue now some competitive people are gonna your toes are about to curl up, so get ready. I'd actually argue that the Throne of Skulls format, which is heavily weighted towards soft scores, is arguably one of the best events you can attend.
Yeah.
And I would say that that's because very much like Bobo or Crimbobo, where John makes a concerted effort to make sure that people are entertained and having fun. As an event that I've experienced, I would actually argue that it really is the purpose of why we usually spend our weekends hanging out together.
Yeah.
Not sweating quite that much.
I mean, no. To be fair, I sweated probably a little bit much, and getting dripped on in Rock City, that was not nice. Feeling the drips coming off from the balcony. That was hot. But no, it was good. It was fun. Like all I wanted to do was have fun. At par, we were like, look at the shit.
That's my point. That's my point, because it's so heavily weighted towards soft scores that you end up it's not really. You have to be so fucking nice to your opponent.
Not really. Just go, oh, you're really shit.
I've given you a huge bonus at event Speckles.
It was. To be fair though, it was really good. So I've been to quite a lot of events now, and there was a few. The scribes that were there in force, and so was WS10. But I only played 2 people that I knew. Like there was so many new people. I was
That's
like,
great.
Who are all of you? Like looking around, and you know when you look around normal tournaments, every 2 seconds saying hello, or you're walking to someone that you know. It's really good. But then here, I'm like walking around saying hello to people I don't know or haven't met, and I was like, this is amazing. Like the tournament scene seems quite, and the competitive thing is massive.
Yeah.
But there's everyone kind of knows each other. Whereas with the doubles, it was just awesome seeing so many new people. I was like, wow. And for soft scores and stuff, the thing that really made me laugh when they were doing the trophies at the end, a couple of the scribes, James and James.
They got second place.
Well, it was amazing because we were sat on the same stool because there was so many of us there, and he was explaining
all of you on the same
just
stool.
all of us on that one stool. And James was explaining to me how because the people had gone up who'd won like most sporting, best in faction, best painting, stuff like that, and he was like, oh well, obviously these guys are going to come first, second, third. And I was like, well, how? He's like, well, because it's so heavily weighted for sports and stuff like this that they get this, that, and the other. While he's explaining that to him, they announce his bloody name, and he's like, what? He's like, yeah, that's you. So he was like, oh God. So over a second, he's explaining how he can't possibly do it because he wasn't as cool as the rest. But fair play, they were really good. And it was amazing to see him go up and get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. When you said this and that 3 times, I just decided to not listen to the rest of your story.
Well, you don't normally anyway, but...
So big shout out to James subscribes coming second. The first place was a lovely man. He's a big tall fellow with tattoos on his face, and his partner, who I do know and I've met before, forgot his name, but he's a really nice chap as well. I can't remember.
Yeah, we had 5 awesome opponents, so it was great.
It's Andy. He's a really nice man though.
It was hard knowing everyone's names because we remember their team names rather than names.
Yeah, that's my excuse.
I mean, I was there.
That's what I go for.
I can't remember your name, Rob.
Apparently, DVS2K says there's a meeting engagements at Warhammer World on the 21st of the 7th. Meeting engagements tournament. Guess what? I won't be going to that tournament. Yeah, because and DVS2K, I'm very excited for you, and I hope you have a wonderful time. And it's just a ball out. And also, thank you for subscribing for 3 months. I won't go though because I can't be bossed. I only want to play 2K Warhammer. Just saying. Is that okay?
Yeah, I want more than 3 models. I want 5, at least.
Do you ever want to talk into the mic?
5.
Good. All right. So the purpose of today, unless anyone's got any questions in the chat,
Look at us. We can't see it.
Didrin, also thank you for surviving 10 months in a row. The purpose of today is we're going to be talking through, because I'm going to try and cut down on the level of waffle we do before we get into the subject.
I mean, tangents, isn't that something that you do quite spectacularly?
No, we get into the subject, then we go on tangents. Those are my thoughts. I have played no Warhammer this week. I have been painting my pink horrors.
I forgot to ring yours. I've got some for you.
Can I find you one? Oh, this guy. Yeah, no. He's nearly finished. This pink horror, if you guys can see. In fact, actually, Simon, you can...
I'll hold it by Jet's head.
Just use the camera.
I mean, I can't see it, though.
Yeah, it's okay. We can fix that.
Well, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, can you see it?
The
should be about there. If I remember where the camera was.
Yeah. There you go. I'll grab it.
Yeah, because I can't see.
There you go, dudes. That's what it looks like.
Jet's obviously
it's a dog in the
impressed.
way. It's so much better. That makes it much better. Right, anyway, you can't see it.
I mean, those contrast plates look amazing.
That was a terrible decision. Nikos says, that's a good question before we go on, actually, because that happened this weekend. You were there. So you're at Warhammer World this Saturday. Right, Nathan, do you know what this Saturday was? No, don't ruin it for him. Do you know what happened this Saturday? Just gone. We missed it.
Yeah, it was Warhammer Day.
It was Warhammer Day.
And there was...
And Nikos is asking the question, WTF, because we don't swear on this show now, I've decided. WTF is Warhammer Day. We do swear.
It was the day when they said it was Warhammer, wasn't it? That's it. I don't have a clue what happened, because there may have been alcohol involved in my weekend. But, yeah, they put some big picture up.
Toxer, thanks for subscribing. So you were at Warhammer World?
Yes.
During Warhammer Day?
Yes.
And your conclusion is they put a picture up?
I mean, that's what I saw on Sunday when I got home. But, other than that, that's about it.
On Warhammer Boxing Day.
It was like, I was like, well, yeah, on the boxing Warhammer.
Nathan, do you know what WTF Warhammer Day is?
It was Ian from the Ironjaws. It was his birthday, so they just made it Warhammer Day as well. Because he paints really nice.
Happy birthday, Ian. Happy birthday, Ian. Sunny says those are the new skirmish paints. White General says the day they wanted to shift objective markers. Warspire says all Warhammer Day was for people to buy loads of stuff. Oh, nice.
What stuff?
It's an excuse to sell an expensive model, and I bought that £20 Sister of Battle, says Full Grieber. That's okay. Highroad says Warhammer Day, the day they released not enough of the pluses for battle people to buy. And then Nighttime Hijink says, I bought the overpriced coins like a fucking Jerry. And the Chickweedy says, just a day where they sell the same shit they usually do, plus some massively overpriced objectives. I never knew any of that.
Well, they sold some coins.
Yeah, some coins.
So it is
With your real money,
like
you could
Christmas
buy
Boxing
Warhammer
Day.
coins.
Jet.
Nope, don't you lick that. Get up. Stop it.
I mean, it's all on you where the camera goes now.
Punch you, and then I'll cuddle you.
How could you punch
Cutie.
that? It's like,
Really? Yeah. All right. Sweet.
was
We've
there
answered
any AOS stuff for it?
What?
I didn't see any AOS stuff.
So it
for
was a 40k day.
Yeah. Is it 40k day?
Sisters of Battle and 40k coins.
You could use the coins for anything.
Oh, okay.
But they only
to
sell
buy things.
But they only sell 6 coins.
Oh, so you can't buy a lot.
Well, you can. There are 6 objective markers in this game. Age of Sigmar now has 8. There's an objective. There's a scenario with 8 objectives.
So they're a little bit like,
So buy 12 of them.
yeah.
Then you've got spare ones. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah.
Have they sold the new scenery markers yet?
Yeah.
No, they haven't sold them yet.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know. And we also.
I mean, that would have been a good excuse. Warhammer Day.
Yeah.
Buy
I'm pretty
scenery
certain
dice.
we're going to make some.
Yeah.
On the show. We're going to make a bundle of.
I hope they've got pictures on and no words.
Yes.
They will have words on, not
All,
pictures, because you're an
all
idiot.
pictures.
Or
What are
numbers.
you thinking? No, don't you lick that. Stop it. High as shit. You fucking stone dog. Welcome to honest-wargamer. We've got a stone dog on. Right, anyway, let's get on with the bloody show, right? Let's do this. Wait, there's a Troggoth Hag Funko Pop. When?
What?
What?
How good would that be?
Funko? What? I don't even understand those words.
What, you don't have Funko Pop?
No.
Right, okay. Right, look, let's go on with the show. Right, let's get on with it. What we're actually here to talk about, which is the Age of Sigmar scenario. So, Generals Handbook 2019 has come out, and they have 12 battle plans. None of them are new, but they are so revised that they're effectively new in some cases. But it's the same names.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go through them, and we're going to talk about. We're just going to have a long, and then after the long form, I'm going to. If that's okay. Oh, I forgot. Right, settle down, Specs, says Denise.
You're not seeing what I'm seeing.
Right, okay. So the first one, because I've changed the wrong thing, that we are going to talk about is going to be Knife to the Heart. Knife to the heart, but you're too late. You give love
Bad name.
a bad name, bad name. Da-da-da. Right, so you guys can see it on.
You can come off. You're just making a mess, yeah. Come.
So we're just removing. Oh, there it is, the classic Jet dog butthole. Thanks, Jet. Appreciate your
Contribution.
It wouldn't be a show without his arse.
Good. Please get your jet emojis out in the chat. So we're going to be talking about the Generals Handbook 2019, and the first one we're going to be talking about. Oh, LV, thanks for subscribing for 14 months. And Age's got a question. Does the new nullify terrain effect prevent an underspell effect if the spell is cast in range of the terrain? No, because the effect happens and then it gets dispelled after that effect. There you go.
It depends. If it's set up within range, then yeah, because it's when it's set up.
Yeah, then it immediately goes away.
Depends on the wording on the spell.
Yeah, but someone would have to be like mad to do that. Hookerpin's also donated
Or a
500 bits to the
Zinch
show
player.
for Jet the Dog. Thank you very much, Hookerpin. And Lofthammer says, which 3 battle plans would be the best for one day? So Lofthammer, I promise what's going to happen is this is going to be a long chat where you guys in the chat and us, we just have a chat about the scenarios and we look at the pictures and then we say some things, and then there's going to be a more condensed kind of video and some resources that we're going to put out to help people, help TOs, but also just help players at home. So you guys can just have like more effective kind of like
learn how to do it.
Yeah, like a good question would be, what's the most fun game for a pickup match?
Yeah.
And I would say it's probably not Knife to the Heart, but maybe. So we'll be doing that afterwards. This is kind of our thinking. You're listening to our thinking show as we go through it.
Not much thought going from this side of the table, so.
Loads. If anyone in the chat has got any thoughts as we go through them, please fire them in because I'd love to hear it. So the first one is, as you can see, I've broken them down into number of objectives. So this is the only scenario where you have 2 objectives on the board. You can see a video. You can see an image on the video, and I'll include them in show notes in the podcast. You guys can see it. And interestingly, also, knife to the heart, you start 18 inches away from each other at the closest point. So the territories you can see on the map, and so effectively, if you've got something that can move 12 and charge, then it cannot. Well, you probably can't charge the first turn, but anything over that, then you're going to start
No, you
having
can.
charges. You can
If you both set up on the line.
yeah, on the line.
Yeah.
But anything after that, you're now in trouble realistically, and something that like a Good King Terrorgeist moves 14, can run and charge. You can spend a command point to make it 6. So that's 20. So it's got a 20. It's got a 20-inch movement, and then it's got 2d6 threat range. So it could be charging you.
Don't go straight to the fluffy stuff. Talk about the filthy Ironjaws that can do it like instantaneously.
They could also go very far, but yeah. So it's one of the closer. There are only actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 scenarios which start 18 inches. So where you can start within 18 inches, which means
just outside of 18.
Oh yeah, just outside of 18. Sorry. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 where you start 24 inches apart. Very exciting. And then there are 2 where you start 22.77 inches apart. Best part of 22.8. So, what do you guys think of this? Just initially, as you can see it, it's a unique scenario in this Generals Handbook. In that, what it happens is you win the game if you hold both objectives. After turn 3, after the beginning of battle round 3. Got any thoughts?
I like them. It's difficult to do. It's really for tournaments especially. It's great.
Yeah, well, I think it's very matchup dependent. So it obviously favors horde armies that can move very fast. So you can only do it. So it's immediately after battle turn third. So from the third battle round. But it does favor a horde army that can just swamp the enemy objective if they're playing against an elite army. So. Like a Stormcast army or something
versus
like that.
A Gits army, as an example.
Then you just charge 60 Gits and then that's it. You just win the game. Pretty much.
Yeah. So the threats is those horde units being on the board. So they move up higher in your priority of things that you want to murder. Movement's also key. But as we go through these, you're going to get really bored of me saying movement is really key. But everyone's got access to things like
the bridge, the bow, teleports.
Yes, a lot of people have got access to those sorts of elements now. The other threat that you've got, what I like about this is, and if you guys are looking at the map, there's a lot of room at the back of the board for you. So you would think that you would just go in a straight line right at that objective, but there's actually quite a bit. As you can see there, it's 24 inches to the objective. So if you're going to put a unit on the objective to keep it safe, then you're going to screen around it. So you've actually got to put a unit quite far out from the objective to screen from your back edge. So there's some real threat there, in my opinion.
And there's a big flank on the right on these. So for coming in on the flanks as well. So
there's a lot that can actually happen in this that you need to be aware of. And again, if you go to your army list, sometimes like those little 10-man units, it's like a little 10-minute. Well, what they're going to do? Well, their job is just to stop the unit from like deep striking near there,
blocking stuff up
and screen it out, right? So that's something to be conscious of in this. But you're right, this is hugely matchup dependent, and this is the one that you're probably most going to get a minor win on at best.
But that's what I like about it. It's a real game changer. I mean, obviously depending on the matches as well, but
if they're fairly equal army,
if
they're equal armies, then it's more likely to get a minor.
But it's a good game though.
Well, so as an example, I played a very similar scenario against Giannis from the Demonic Pigeons over in Greece, and he had Shadow Strike. Pterodons. Usually it's Shadow Strike Ripidactyls, but either way, it's something that starts off board and it can come and get me. That's fairly unique as well because it can just deploy onto the objective, realistically. So you have to leave quite a portion of your army on the back line. So that's really interesting as a matchup. And then anything that can deep strike is fairly dangerous.
Well, you're very susceptible to a double turn as well.
Really susceptible.
So you do have to be pretty careful on how you, which side of the turn you want to take, and stuff.
And when you want to take, just when you want to go for the win, because sometimes like you can go in on turn 4 and think, right, I won the roll off. I'm going to take it now, and leave my back end open and try and win.
Sorry, leave what?
I mean, I think if you win the priority turn 2, you probably want to give it to your opponent so that you've got the second half of turn 2.
Chances to double up.
Yeah, because it's from turn 3 that the instant win starts happening. So turn 1, you want to be setting yourself up to give the turn 2 priority away if you get it. And then, but the problem is if your opponent's doing the same, then you're just not playing the first 2 turns because you're just
waiting.
Yeah, and then it just comes down to those dice. The turn.
Which is why I think that one of the other things you can do is you can put an early threat out, turn 1. So you can commit, like, if you have inside your army list a portion of your army, which you can put into the midfield as bait, because, as Nathan said, probably what people are going to try and do is give away the second turn priority, which gives you, it stops them doing that because now you've got a threat that you can put into them into the second turn, and they're like, oh, actually, I'm going to be a bit tenuous about applying this, or I might take it to get rid of the threat, but the threat's the bait, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's loads to play, but one of my favourite scenarios because it's interesting. Looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, it's quite.
Yeah, I've not played that yet.
It can be tactical, or it can be just
horrible.
just a game over because the matchup just says, "Fuck you."
Which all matchups should do, I reckon. Okay, so that's that one. That's pretty cool. I like that one.
Yeah.
Do you want to Twitch chat and you two? Would you like to give it a rating out of 5 jets out of 7? How many jets out of 7?
How many jets out of
we
7?
rate it? The Mizia, also Christian. Thank you for subscribing for 17 months. You fucking gorgeous man. Thanks, Christian. Christian, also from a Nordic country, and also not from a Nordic country. All at the same time.
A Mexican from Scandinavia.
From Scandinavia, who lives in Norway.
Yeah.
So, what do you think out of 7?
3.5.
3.5. You don't like it?
No, it's because of the matchup dependency thing. If all the armies were a bit more equal, I don't know. I just think some matchups are just like.
I like it. I think it makes a lot more. You playing more tactically on that as well.
Yeah. How many jets are you going to give it out of 7?
5 jets.
So Lofthammer gives it 4. Fruit3 says 7 jets out of 7 because my dispossessed can do what they do best and exclusively sit still and barely move and still be in it for a shot. White General gives it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 7 jets. You can use the Twitch emote if you want. See you later, Toon King Tristan. You have a good day. On to Canada Day. Oh my God! Happy Canada Day!
Happy Canada Day!
Happy Canada Day! That's lovely. Can Canada. All right. Next up, we're going.
How many jets are you going to give it?
So what's going to be really interesting, I think, is when we get to the end and we have a conversation about composition of tournaments, because I think that's a different show we can do at the end of this. Moving on, I would say that some TOs have been not particularly brave last year with the choices. Also, TG Mikey, thank you so much for joining the Honest Wargamer. Subscribe for the first time ever. He's got his big dick energy of 1 month. I would say that TOs have not been particularly brave with their choices, actually. And I think you could make some pretty polarised tournaments, but interesting tournaments. And this one, this or Take and Hold, are normally put in to like split the field in a large tournament. It's like, fair enough, but what about secondaries? That kind of works a bit nicer, I think. Or I like them though. I would put both of them in one tournament pack.
Well, we played I'm sure someone will say. I'm sure it was Take and Hold we played this weekend.
Oh, the Mizia, thank you for donating 500 bits to the show. You lovely, gorgeous man. And then Toon King says, how much do I need to donate to get this show for meeting engagement scenarios? Fuck. We'll just do it, Toon King Tristan. Fucking hell. All right. So that I'll give it a 7 because I think it's great. I just think seeing this or the other one all the time, just as one it's a quite polarizing mission. So I would like to see both of the missions that do this. No, there are 3 actually. I'd like to see all 3 of the missions that do this, where you auto win, be in one tournament pack. I think that would be a fascinating tournament. Like it would be really interesting. It would be very chessy. I don't know. I've never really played chess, so
3 mana wins for Rob.
TJ Maker says that he's playing Stormcast Eternals, not in love with them, but kind of fell into them after I bought Soul Wars and started painting. Going to play them for a year. Not in love with them, but kind of fell into them. How everyone feels about Stormcast. Don't worry, TJ Maker, you'll find your way. Next up, we are looking at shifting objectives, which has had a big change from last year.
No, he's messed up now, hasn't he?
This is one of 2 scenarios that has 3 objectives available to you on the board. So previously, shifting objectives happened lengthways, so all the objectives were in the centre line. Now they are widthways, where they're all in the centre line, so they're more spread out.
Portrait, landscape.
Yeah, all portrait landscape. That also works really well. Thank you very much. They were portrait, and now they're landscape.
Yes.
What do you guys initially think of this? Same to the Twitch chat.
I like it. I was a fan of the old one, but it was just a smash up in the middle, whereas I think this one stretches armies a lot more. I like it. You have to be... A lot of movement is key. But I like the fact that it changes where the 5 points go. Was it 5 or is it 3 points?
There are 3.
Yeah, 3.
I just said that.
I know. I don't pay attention to you.
That's fair. I don't pay attention to you, so it works really well.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I just think it's great that it's quite far back as well now. So you're not going to just alpha an army and hold them back while you're taking all the objectives.
Yeah, it might have used to be 18, did it? Oh, it doesn't
think
matter
it
what
was
it used to
closer,
be.
Sorry, so shifting objectives, you're 24 inches
Yeah,
apart.
24
Yeah.
now.
And
I
you
think
were 24 before.
right, we were, okay.
Yeah.
I suppose
It just felt close before.
because you're more
hand to
compact,
hand.
aren't you?
Yeah. Whereas this, it is definitely loads more spread out, so it's going to favour people that can move a lot.
So have you got any tactics just looking at it with you, like just off the bat? Any thoughts? My thoughts would be probably to deploy a single 10-man unit on one flank, and then I would go incredibly hard on a flank in the centre. And you probably, a bit like how you used to play Total Commitment, well, that's how I play Total Commitment anyway, depending on how your army works. But like, as an example, your flesh, let's not talk about them. Let's talk about Leaders and Nagash. The Ethereal Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon on one flank is a pretty much one-man beat stick, right?
Yeah.
Who could probably take that solo flank on the right, if we're looking at it. And then you could use the whole army to try and clear the centre and the left.
Expect loads of Reapers stuck in the middle of those skellies.
Yeah, you could do some real good work. And if your army isn't built that way and it fights together, probably aim for one flank in the middle. You'll still win, as opposed to I wouldn't go straight into the middle. I'd go.
Well, obviously it depends as well which flank you, because you roll for where it comes down after you've set up your armies, don't you? I think that's the decider which way you should go.
Which are the most expensive?
Yeah,
but if
yeah.
you own 2, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's what I mean. But then that helps you decide which 2 you want to go as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Spruce and Bruce wants to say, "Hey guys, out going cheers to Speccles for the game at the doubles."
That was awesome. Oh,
What?
what did we play? What did I send you a photo? We played Spruce and Bruce.
And they did bring
they
Cameron
played.
Hall again.
They brought awesomeness. The only real dwarves in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Dispossessed.
Damn it!
Yes.
Damn it!
And the smallest model I've ever seen nearly just one-shot my Terrorgeist. We kind of wanted it to happen, but no, it didn't.
Good.
But then...
What was that?
It was... They'll say in the chat, it was a tiny little dude, but he gave him Sword of Judgment, and he ran into a Terrorgeist. He's like, I'm going to kill it.
Was it unforged?
It's a little tiny...
Was it a
little
little
dude.
Slayer?
Yeah. don't
could
all
be.
the dwarves look the same? To be honest, Speccles.
No. Those fire people look the same, but this one looked so much smaller than everything else. I'm like, that's awesome. And I was like, I need to kill it because it's going to kill me. I didn't realise I had Sword of Judgment messing around, and I was like, I won't hit it. I hit you instead. And then we decided a gyro bomber, which was even better. So we decided throughout the whole game, we're not fighting it at all. It's too cool to fight. So we refused. I refused to scream at it. I refused to charge it. I'll roll the dice, mate. I'm not going to make a 9. And on a summoning my flayers, like 11. I was like, no, they're not moving. So I left the flayers back in the corner so I didn't hit the gyrocopter.
So you just wouldn't fight the gyrocopter?
And we let it fight us, but then we didn't fight it.
What? Just because it's shit?
No, because it's awesome. It
Oh.
looked amazing as
Oh,
well.
right, okay.
No shit about it.
So sorry.
They did say tactically what they should have done is run that around, and then we wouldn't afford it, and then they wouldn't again. and it probably would have been a solid tactic.
It would have been a solid tactic. I agree.
Yeah.
And Talk About K says, all I'm seeing is dwarves walking a long way, talking about this scenario. And then Parr says that it was a great game. Nice to meet both of you, and hats off for the gyrocopter. And Sprues and Brews team came 18th, so congratulations.
I know, really good.
And then Promotory says, the Outworld Mercenary Company gives us a reason to use cannons and gyrocopters again, assuming they're allowed in match play. It's all good. Welcome to the Honest Wargamer, the dwarf channel. Well, gyrocopters are cool though.
Well, they had some. Those Fire Slayers, even 5 of those Volkite Berserkers were poles. Yeah, they're not ones to mess around, are they?
I just want a big shout out to Vladium. Thank you, buddy. Vladium is always super busy, but he's been watching the show for a long time, and big love. And to all of you, thank you so much. So let's talk about this mission, shifting objectives. So the scenario shifts around. You're 24 inches apart. At the beginning of the battle round, it will turn, and one of them become more expensive than the others. Have you got any thoughts other than try and take the centre and aside? That's how I'll play. FY, if people are trying to play me.
I think you're right. I think if you basically deploy your main force sort of between 2 objectives, so depending on how the terrain is or whatever, you pick a flank and just try and control 2 at least of the 3, but threaten the 3rd if it's
You
just
need something there.
just there's something that's there. If it's left unguarded, you can just run in and grab the points. But the main thing is to fight for 2, I think. Sometimes that'll work for you, sometimes it won't, though.
Sometimes it won't. You're right, and I think there's a lot because you have to spread yourself quite wide as well. Thank you, Valadium, by the way, for subscribing for 3 months. Because you have to spread yourself quite wide, you're going to be in a bit of a tangle when you're going to want to with getting deep struck in the backfield, potentially. So you could get surrounded fairly easily.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I played it, I played. I'll tell you, I'm rubbish with names. I think it's Chris Miles, the tattoo artist guy with the Nurgle.
Okay.
Yeah, really good game, and he swamped it with Nurgle, and he had like 120 plague bearers. I was like, oh crap, this is going to suck. And I just had to keep belting it and belting it and belting it and belting it, and just concentrating on 2 and praying that the rolls kept me going and kept me in the game. And it was because I went on to 2, I've managed to kill enough that side to keep it going, and I won. But yeah, it's definitely one where if you're a horde, swamp them best you can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very similar to what they did at one of the first South Coast, where they had a tower that jumped around between 3 places, and I had a dispossessed army that I took to that, and I controlled 2 places that the tower could jump around to. And it never came to those 2. So
Awkward.
I own these.
So
you can own them forever.
So yeah. So sometimes you do get bummed by it, but yeah, it's if you control 2, you should be in with a good shout, really.
Yeah. I agree. There you go. Good tactic. And how do we rate it out of Jets? Out of 7 Jets. Twitch chat. Everyone else. I like this. This was actually one of 2 of my favourite scenarios in the last Generals Handbook. Even though it was a bit moshy in the middle. This one I'm going to be a little bit more triggered by because it's so wide.
Yeah.
And it's going to, again, get ready for the quote. It's really good for mobile armies.
You preferred it tight than wide, then?
Yeah, always. Thanks. But I'll give it a 6 out of 7 because I quite like it moving around. It means you got to do moving, which is good. Hypnocracken also agrees with me and gives it a 6 out of 7.
Snap a 6.
Nathan?
Yeah, I'll go with 6 as well. I think, I mean, being able to move and react is pretty good. So, yeah, it rewards that. Cool.
It does. Hiro says, I nearly won this mission at Bobo, but the big objective jumped to the point I wasn't controlling it. DB2K says 5 out of 7. It does also make that priority roll very interesting as well, because it moves to a place. You obviously then have got so much happening now in the priority phase where it moves, you decide whether or not you're given a turn. Also, you move in endless spells, so just loads of... Yeah. It's just badass.
It's also, like, obviously there's a few of them where you can auto-win, or you can just... Like, winning the roll on turn 3, you can also win a game. Whereas this, it's a lot more luck, and there's not an automatic thing. You just have to keep playing and playing properly to do it, which I like.
Okay, so next up, Starstrike. It's had a big change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a big fan of the change.
Hawkeye, you've only missed the 1. We've only done 2 so far. We have done Knife to the Heart and Shifting Objectives. We're now on Star Strike. So again, this has 3 objectives, but these objectives land at different points. At the beginning of Battle Round 2, 1 will land, and then at the beginning of the hero phases in Battle Round 3, 2 more will land. Felonious Skunk, thank you so much for subscribing for 9 months. You also, let me just get this right, you also start 24 inches away from your enemy at the start of the game. Always useful to know. But as you can see there now, where the Star Strike lands has been refined, and it goes from 2 to 12. You roll 2d6, so more than likely it's going to land
Smack in the middle.
Smack in the middle. What do you guys think about this?
I'm not a fan.
You don't like it?
No, I mean, I used to love the old one because it was similar to Shifting Objectives. It
Right.
was movement was key, and I loved the fact that you could never predict where it's going to come. Whereas now you can kind of set up in the middle, knowing roughly it's going to be in there. Because with 2d6, it's going to be around there most of the time. If not, it's very rarely going to be at the top or the bottom. Whereas the other one, it was one is three different versions. And that was it. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
So Hippocracker says, I really like the new Star Strike, makes it more dynamic instead of the static securing 3 spots. And it's a fair point. TJ Mikey says, played this the other day and rolled 6 3 times. So all in the middle. El Capitan says, all 3 landed smack in the middle this weekend when he played. Hawkeye, Star Strike is meh now. Didn't need to change in my opinion. I would also agree with that. I mean, I don't like change for change's sake. It's nice having something kind of refreshed, but not particularly bad. But I do think Star Strike hammered some units that weren't very mobile before.
Yeah.
Again, quote, movement's really important and really useful. And you probably could, TOs out there, you maybe should make a little chart to check how many times it does land in the middle, because it will be a huge volume of the time, right?
Yeah.
But is that good? Is that better? More consistent means people can play a little bit more safe. It's going to be a very moshy in the middle game.
Yeah, so this is the new Shifting Objectives.
It is.
It's very similar to what Shifting Objectives was, whereas Shifting Objectives has become more like how Star Strike was. They've swapped roles, haven't they?
It's still
That's a really good point.
And
Yeah.
for that point, I liked the old Shifting Objectives as well, because it favoured armies that could fight in a concentrated area, whereas Star Strike I liked as well because it favoured armies that could spread out and fight. So it tests both of those qualities in an army. So for me, I like this as well. All they've done is they've just taken Star Strike and Shifting Objectives and just changed the names.
I didn't think of it that way. Yeah.
And yeah, you're now deploying it. The deployment is still different, but there is a chance, an outside chance, that it's going to end up in some random place as well. So it's not as predetermined as the old Shifting Objectives was.
No,
because
that wasn't moving anywhere.
Yeah. The amount of times I've rolled a double one, I'd just be deploying on the left flank all the time.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah. But no. So I quite like it. Yeah.
Just Duality in the chat. He's just saying Speccles teaching Rob how to Warhammer, and I couldn't agree with him more. I love learning from this Speccles. 3 objectives, 24 inches apart. I like the 24 inches apart. Truth be told, I think some armies are a little bit too strong, and they could already hit me in the first turn pretty well. Looking at you, Sinesh, Flesh Eater Courts,
Ironjaws.
Ironjaws.
Welcome to the new filth.
Yeah. So I would prefer. I like a little bit of breathing room. Yeah. Especially when I like this mission also what it does on the tabletop, because I don't have to engage in the first turn if I don't want to. So it means going first is less important. And it also means alpha strike armies aren't really gaining any advantage. I mean, if you can alpha strike, then you've won the game, because by definition that's what that is. So successful alpha striking armies. But for me personally, I like what it does, because it means I can just I don't have to engage in the first turn, and it mitigates one-drop armies a bit.
Yeah, so first turn there's no objectives on the board, so you're just fighting for the hell of it.
Or running in the middle, going,
Which you'll probably tend to find a lot of people won't fight.
Some people don't, some people do. Like, it's quite a good time to go and try and
push them back.
Just take out key units. But then you've got to be aware that then the stars obviously come down in the second turn, but probably the third turn is more important because that's when you know where all 3 objectives are.
And they're 3 points each as well.
Yeah, and so you score also. You score the victory points.
For the round number.
Is it
Is
still,
it still the same? Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
most victory points? Victory points at the end of their turns for each objective, the number equal to the
Round it is.
round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's 2 points, 3 points, 4 points.
Yeah, so quite often, actually, like if whoever scores the center objective in the second turn, it's only 2 points. It hardly means a thing because the next turn there's 9 points up for grab. The following turn there'll be 12 points, and then 15 the last turn. So I like it because it's one where you can come back from.
Really well.
The late game is really, really important. So those armies that go hard and fast at the beginning and then just flitter away, they'll struggle in this one because it's really a late game.
Stamina's important.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, and I would agree with you as well. I think you're right. Like attrition armies are going to do a little bit better
Yeah,
here.
summoning armies are really going to enjoy this one as well because they end up with suddenly a whole army at the end of the game.
Yeah,
Some of them.
and those units that you keep off the board, tree revs,
Nighthaunt.
heart renders, not Nighthaunt. I more mean like armies that like have access to like some small like deep striking units that can go grab objectives late game, like summoning, and also the other ones that you pay points for, tree revs.
Shadow Strike should do really well in this.
Yeah, they can
because
just go.
you can summon the skinks in the beginning part of the game just to be messing about with the objectives, and then late game you just go in there hard with your rippers or your pterodons or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever your thing is.
So yeah, you're right. Like late game, so there's some big wins later on. So those priority rolls later become even more pivotal because
massive.
you're just going to go sneak a cheeky win.
Yeah.
Who
Go on.
doesn't love sneaking a cheeky win? So out of 7, what would you give it?
5.
Oh, you're not impressed by it?
No, like I said, I liked the fact it was more chances of being so much further apart for me.
Okay.
But I do like the fact it's 24 inches away now.
It was before.
Was it?
I think so.
All right then.
What do
I
you
like
think?
that anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 6, same as shifting objectives. I think,
6?
Yeah,
A
I
cheeky
think,
6?
I think they're the same.
Yeah, all
Same
right.
thing.
Fair
I
enough.
like 'em.
I think 6 is a good one.
Yeah.
I like what it does to the composition of army list building. That's what I like about this, because nothing's on the board in the first turn.
No.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of that, which is all good. And then Spruce and Bruce says, evocators with a Vexler to redeploy will do well here. Yes. Vladim bought himself a lovely table to play in his loft. He's wanted to let us know. It's a lovely one, he says, in the attic, which is a beautiful room. But it turns out it's too big to get around the corner of the stairs. So I saw my stunning new table right in half to get it up the stairs. Gutted.
Pivot. That's all I should say.
Yeah,
Pivot.
You can tell that's why he's a fan of the show. That's basically how we do all of the things that we need to
Cut it
do.
in half until it works.
Yeah. I'm very sorry about that. Hawkeye, 5 out of 7. He gives it. Grumslike says, no, and then Duality say he gives it a 3 out of 7.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. But then probably because it's just probably always going to be in the middle. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing that puts me off.
Right, so there are now, so that is the 2 scenarios which have 3 objectives in, and they're both 24 inches apart, which is interesting. The next scenario has got, 4 objectives. There are 3 scenarios which have 4 objectives. The first of which we're going to look at is Battle for the Pass.
I wish they'd do it in order for us, wouldn't it?
Well, there is an order, but not that. I mean, Games
Not the
Workshop
book
haven't
order.
put. Yeah, not. Well, no, I mean, I'm quite surprised in between the 12 scenarios there isn't just some bloody warbands or some Path to Glory shit. Yeah. Or a story. Yeah.
Could do with a nice story.
Could do with a nice story right in the middle.
Just choked to death on that, thanks.
Battle for the Pass, and you guys can see the picture on the. So it's got 4 objectives, and they very interestingly, they start 36 inches apart at the width and 24 inches apart at the landscape portrait. You can see the picture on the screen.
Portrait.
Yeah, and we've got some pointy deployment map So you deploy inside your territory, and the territory is defined. Why this is really interesting, and it's really worth looking on how we've drawn up the pictures. So big shout out to Scrivo for doing that. Thank you. And we're going to upload those so you guys can see.
Yeah, because we can't.
Because you obviously can only put your piece of terrain for your faction inside your territory.
Yeah. I played this the other day with Andy Hughes, and that it really isn't a lot of room where you need to put stuff down. It limits. So I don't know how Horde's going to do against this. Not all the Horde armies will be sat right at the back where it does not want to be.
Yeah, so it's quite a limited space.
Yeah, this really forces you to deploy back. I mean, you can't fit a Terrorgeist in that point.
Oh, you can.
No, you can't because
you can.
it's got a base.
So you can't put it on the 24-inch line.
No.
It's got to go back. It's probably going to be about 27, 28 inches back from the other point. So.
And you aren't going to be able to. You're not going to be able to screen it very well. It's also quite hard to screen. Anywhere.
Really, really difficult.
So it's really interesting, and also you're going to want to try and put. I mean, I can imagine someone's going to put their corn. The Altar of Skulls right at the front. They'll be like, right, that's there, or the Fane, or whatever it might be. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have a real issue getting your Loon Shrine in there, Nate.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the Loon Shrine is going to be a pain in the arse in this scenario.
So, just straight off the bat, what do you guys think of it?
I love playing it. It was really good.
So, what was your experience with it, and what did you like about it?
Well, there was this guy who did really well at E3, and apparently he's amazing, but then he lost to Speccles.
What do you actually think of the scenario?
I really liked it. When I was setting up, it's the only time I've thought, oh my, where the hell am I going to put all my stuff? Because you have to completely rethink how you set up your army, because you normally want big blocks where to go and get the objectives, and then obviously your power pieces at the front. You have to kind of flip them the other way around and play slower just to get the objectives and get what you need there. But yeah, it was a really good game. Really good game.
So I'm right in thinking that your home objective was worth 1. The opponent's objective is worth 4 points of the 2 in the centre.
Yeah, 2.
I really like this.
Yeah.
Actually, because I think it massively is going to change up how people play. It's very different to a lot of the scenarios we've ever played before. Yeah. So people are going to have to. If you were new, I would practice this one a lot because it's a new type of. You're going to have to deploy your army quite different to how you deploy it in a lot of other scenarios. Yeah. Got any thoughts, Nate?
Yeah, I do think, like you say, it just changes your deployment quite a bit. Screening, it just means you're further away, so which is cool for a longer game. Obviously, I think it does favour armies that can deep stripe and ambush, or have got teleporting, which are most armies now, actually, if not all armies with the
bringing dingy.
Yeah, with the forbidden power spells.
Some bent Zinch change house stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty unique, right? Realistically, but yeah, there's Hand of Gorks.
Yeah, Hand of Gorks. The spine bridges.
I mean, Sinesh move pretty fast. Beast of Chaos move pretty fast. Khorne moves pretty fast.
Fact move fast.
Well, not all of the Khorne stuff, to be honest. Yeah, Flesh Gorks move fast. Eels move fast. So there's some real movement. Yeah. I think I think you could get pinned in or pinned back quite a lot. So we talked before on the show about swamp lists. So I think you might see that be used. My question is like, I really like these where your opponent's is worth 4 and the middle are worth 2. Like I like these missions, whichever orientation they're in. Yeah, it's 2019. Orientate yourself how you like. But I'd also and I like their inclusion in the pack as well. I asked myself though, would I put it in the pack constantly? This particular mission, and maybe not. Because I think it would be quite impactful on your list. You're like, oh, can I even fit that in? Where do I want my terrain feature to be? And also, if my opponent can just run across I think of Sinesh as an example. They can just run across the board and hit you. And while you're like, okay, that's fine. Like, they could probably screen enough of the board that you can't deep strike, which means you now are just like having to fight through them, which is exactly what they want. And if they can just hold you up for 2 turns, they've probably won the game. And it's just not very nice because that can happen to you on the first turn.
Yeah, well, and going back from my beating Andy Hughes, it was John Green I beat with this when I played him with his squigs, and that's basically what I did. I launched he moved a little bit further forward with his grots and squigs, and his heavy units were at the back, but they're not particularly fast. So if I was I just ran everything forward and got the double turn, and then just pushed him back so far back in that corner, he's stuck. In the triangle, he's got to try. The more and more he's trying to go out, he's got to also condense his army to keep hold the objective, and then he's just got nothing to get out.
Yeah, I mean your own objective is pretty exposed there,
Yeah.
being right at the tip of the triangle.
Yeah.
So it's going to favour low drop armies, particularly ones that are really that can redeploy or really fast alpha strike type things.
I also think things a pre-game move. Looking at you, free gold archers.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the watch, but a cheeky move before the game starts, just to create some space, could be really huge as well. A tactic, if you guys are interested, that's pretty synonymous with how this is played, and I'm sure you guys have seen this as well. It does depend on your army composition. Is and I'm reminded actually because the glorious Mr. Warhammer Rob is in the chat who I played at the Heat recently. So what you can do is you can put a very cheap 2 units in the middle, like to grab those 2 points if you're going first, as an example, right? Which means your opponent has to then come and take them off you. The issue is if they haven't put anything, if they've got no shitty units, right? Normally it takes a fairly okay-ish unit to get rid of the shitty unit that's holding the objective. So that means that they've put now in the middle of the field their goodish unit, which means you can apply a lot of pressure to it, potentially even take it. So it's nice, again, having those little small 10-man units, 5-man units, whatever, to go and grab objectives.
10 wounds is a lot.
Exactly, which you're then trading for turn 2. You get the priority roll, you can maybe hit them, or you can put them out there so your opponent has to move on them. So that's a pretty standard tactic. I'm going to do a video of that so you guys can see how certain armies can do that. But I think that's a pretty standard operating for most armies. A lot of Daughters Game will just run everything into the middle of the board. And
They just go forward and just take a
fight me, fucker. Do you do the same, or do you just undergork 60 lads onto it? Or
Yeah, I think this one's going to be great for Ironjaws at first glance. With the Handgork and obviously the Mighty Destroyer moves, you'll be able to just romp over there, pin your opponent back into their territory and beat the shit out of them.
So it could be quite an uninteractive scenario, realistically.
Really interactive for the orcs. They'll just be interacting with each other because they'll be nicely condensed for the big war.
It's good for Magic players as well because obviously 24 inches apart, and there's not most of your wizards are going to be a lot further out than 30.
Yeah, it's true.
Because they don't want to have the wizards right on the front line because they'll just get picked off. So the wizards will be far back, casting all the crap out.
There's some great points being made in the chat. So again, thank you to everyone in the Twitch chat for being here. Captain Andrew says, what if your whole army is plague monks? I think that's a couple of questions. Number one, if it's got Death Frenzy on, probably you should get in the bin. Those are my thoughts.
Well, they're going to love it when they go, oh, where's my... Oh, no, that's not my territory. That's where they get the bonuses for their summoning, don't they? If they've got the tree in their territory.
They'll be in a Skaven army, Speccles.
What was I on about? A Nurgle army.
What?
Straight to
Plague
Nurgle.
monks, you can put plague monks in the Nurgle army, but why would you?
Well, because originally...
And then but throw a Warp Lightning Vortex right in the middle. It's a horrible and...
Come towards me, you'll die.
I also think an Endless Spell heavy army would be having a field day in the centre here, because that's quite a small, concentrated area. Although, again... they're quite the 2 objectives that are furthest apart. That's 36 inches away. It's quite a way.
Well, when I played John, he had loads of endless spells, and to be fair, it would have been horrific if he could roll, but he just didn't get any off. But he had Purple Sun. He was ready to chuck all these spells in the middle. I'm like, how the hell am I going to get past all these spells? Nothing. There was Maelstrom. I'll just walk past that. Thanks.
Warhammer Rob says, shut up, Speckles. And then Nighttime Hijinks also says, I just had a brain aneurysm listening to Plague Monks being in a Nurgle army. And Hawkeye, thank you for the 100-bit donation.
I'm sorry, I thought Nurgle units might be with Nurgle, but what am I on about?
Captain Andrew also says, I love it when my opponent brings Nurgle trees for me to run and charge, because Plague Monks in Skaven can still use the run and charge.
See,
from the
there was a
factory.
link there.
They're even better than we thought. Okay. So out of 7, what are we rating this? I'm going to give this a 4.
Are you?
I like the change loads,
Yeah.
but I think they haven't thought about the fact that I can just get a whole armies can just be pinned in and lose.
I like it. I think at the beginning of people playing this, that's gonna happen. But I think there'll be people finding out ways to get around it. So I'm gonna go with a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5.5.
5.5.
Wow.
You're gonna cut a jet point in half.
That's it. I've done that already once, so I'm just balancing it out.
All right. Then next up, we have total commitment. So a little bit different there, as you can see.
Oh, there we are.
Let me just double check. Yeah, it's total commitment. So the same thing as before. You can't deep strike. So deep striking units have to start on the board. I'm not a big fan of this, but maybe I'm torn. I'll tell you both sides of that conversation in a second. You start 18 inches apart, so it's one of the closer ones. So if you are one of those deep striking units that got little legs looking at your fire slayers, then it's a little bit more advantageous for you. And again, the objectives are they're quite a way back from, they're behind your lines, which is a threat to being deep struck. Obviously can't, but redeploys. So something like a Hand of Gork.
Yeah.
What do you guys think out of this?
Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah. About it, really. It's not changed too much, but it was always good. I never really cared about the holding stuff back, even with my death unit. So I was like, well, I'm just going to put them on the board anyway. And I'm like, haha, you can't deep strike. It didn't bother me at all. I didn't like the mechanics too much, so I never bothered with it. So,
Okay. So that would put stuff inside the grave sites.
Yeah, I never liked. I'm like, well, I can't roll a bloody 9 to save my life. So what's the point in trying? So I just put it on the board because normally I'm fast on that anyway. So especially being so 18 inches. But yeah, it's good. It's a good one. And obviously you have to go ridiculously fast to get all of them in one go.
Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I quite like the idea of it all except for the no reserves thing. I just think that really just cripples just a couple of the factions like Stormcast. Really rely on that deep striking.
Yeah, so
and Deepkin, to be honest, as well. I think they always like to put stuff in the sea.
Yeah, and you're taking away from them, like, so they might play. So what's incredibly interesting about Total Commitment is it's in every fucking tournament pack, right? All of the time, every time, right? Which is fine, but then you're just dicking over those armies how they play, and they play 4 out of 5 times they play a certain way, and then the 5th time they're like, how do I play? And that kind of makes sense if those armies were rollicking the top tables.
Yeah.
But the only things that I can think that I'm happy about is it makes the Kinrian Heartrenders get on the board, because those winged fuckers can just burn under the hot sun
Forever.
Yeah, forever. Yeah, they are the worst.
Fly far too high.
Fly
too high and burn.
Yeah. And then Warhammer Rob makes another good point as well. They haven't stymied other. Okay. They haven't stymied other types of summoning, movement in the first turn. So things like summoning, right? So like Rob's like, it would be cool if they made it so that you could only summon in your own territory in this one. So again, no deep striking, right?
Yeah.
But then you can just you can put all of your grots on the board, and you can just Hand of Gork them. So why are you stopping Stormcast or Eels from playing the way that they play? It just doesn't make any sense. And I would actually argue that, just like you said, Nath, I just don't want to see it at tournaments. Like, there are loads of other good scenarios. It doesn't bring anything. It just upsets those players who... Whether or not deep striking is a great mechanic for those players to win tournaments, they already aren't winning tournaments very consistently in the last edition of the game. So last Generals Handbook, those deep striking armies didn't do overly well. With Deepkin arguably doing the best. Or Daughters of Cain because of the Heartrenders.
Yeah.
And they did very, very well. But this hampers whole sections of the army. So I'm against it. And I'm giving it a 2.
Oh.
Yeah, and I can't be arsed with it. What do you guys think?
4. It never really bothered me, so it's never really going to bother me again, I don't think. So it's like you say, it's just one of those games you play all the time. It's just, oh, that's there, fine. It wasn't a great one or a bad one. Just a boring one.
I think, if you were a Stormcast Eternals player, you
Oh
would
yeah,
like...
the Stormcast. I mean, it's fun when you see the Stormcast player and you're like, "What we're playing? Total Commitment." Oh my.
Well, and also again, big shout out to Colin and his Fire Slayers, because arguably one of the strongest armies at the minute is Fire Slayers. I played the old version of this, and the objectives have moved around.
Yeah.
I played the old version of this, and his army is terrifying at objectives. So Fire Slayers are terrifying at objective-placed Warhammer now. Yeah. I don't want to fight them. They can fuck off. So I'm kind of like seeing this, but at the same time, that's the... Stormcast I don't care about. Eels I don't care about. Don't care about any of them, but I do care about that Fire Slayer block. And I would like this in tournaments sometimes to discourage them a bit.
And I'll just always take that 30 block.
Yeah, maybe it's unwieldy. It hasn't been out in the field enough, but not enough for me to be like, we need to make sure there's a scenario where they can't win every game. Nath, any follow-ups to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar to what it was before. Sure, they've just tilted it 45 degrees or whatever, but...
I mean, all the scenarios are very much like, can I copy your homework? Just don't make it quite the same.
Well, I mean, like, some of them have changed drastically, like the last one that we looked at with the pointy territory. I've not played that one.
It's good, but it's the only one way you feel like you are playing a new game.
Yeah, I do think this. I mean, it's a cool scenario otherwise because the ones in your opponent's territory are 3 and yours are 1 again, which is quite cool. I like that. So I'd give it a 4, and that's mainly because it does. Yeah, it really picks on the armies that rely on deep striking at the beginning of the game, which that's points that they pay for, and they're just not getting that value. So basically, they're probably playing with like an 1800 or 1900 point army.
It's also not a particularly brave scenario, right? Make a scenario where there's no summoning, and you're like, whoa.
And dispossess go.
Whoa. Yeah,
we're ready now, boys.
All the armies that don't have summoning are like, hello, welcome to my world, right? We're in a thing.
But then they're also... So then they would be playing with an army that's effectively, again, like 1,700 points worth of army then. Because they should be pointed...
Instead of their classic 2,500 point army that they're playing with.
Well, they should be pointed with. Yeah. So that what they end up with during the course of the game is roughly 2,000 points. But, It's virtually impossible mechanic to point.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with you.
That's a different discussion.
I just don't think it's overly brave. I don't think it's overly interesting, and I think it has a negative effect. So I'd like it to. I'd at least like it to be a little less consistent.
Like 6-game tournaments. Bring it in.
No, just like I just don't want it to be every tournament I go to. No. Yeah, as almost a default. So anyway, I want to say also, K-Dread says my Wood Elves will love this one. They've got a loved one scenario, K-Dread. Rob gives it a 2 out of 7. And you gave it a 4. You gave it a 4. Yeah. I give it a 2 also. Number 1 Darkling's coming. Steve Dooley, hello. I'm very much looking forward to our faction reaction.
His name's not Steve Dooley anymore. Yeah. It's Bishop. What I've seen at the weekend.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just not a big fan.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was never anything you went, oh, I hope I don't get that, or I hope I get it. It's just, oh, okay, that's it. And that never bothered me. I don't really want that.
Okay. All right. So next up, Total Conquest. So Total Conquest is the last of our 4 objective missions. You start... now, this is where it gets into a bit of maths. So you guys can see on the screen there.
Math hammering things. We can't even find things at the minute.
Thanks for the feedback, Rob Gooder. These are... we're going to get these revised before we make the kind of shorter, more condensed videos. So
you mean you're cutting me out?
No. Just no. Rob, he's just making a point about the images. And then Total Conquest. So it looks like you start 24 inches apart.
This is Nathan's favourite one.
But you start 22.77 inches apart. And that might not seem like a big deal, but the difference between...
That 7.7's a big deal to some people.
That's only if you deploy on the line.
Yeah. That's only if you deploy on the line, but sometimes that is important to different armies, right? Like, so understanding that they've got like 1.5 inches almost, 1 3/4. You can do a lot with 1 3/4, right? And then Nighttime Hijinks says, I feel like the same Bumpy that wrote Narrow the Search for 40k wrote the last mission because most others are solid, then they got weird. And then Arachnus Deathicus says, hey guys, is Legion of Grief viable for competitive tourists play? Yes. I really like the changes to all the missions, just need the Nova packs, says Captain Andrew. Alright, so 4 objectives. You start 22.7 inches apart on a diagonal. As you can see, also the territories are quite far apart, so your terrain pieces are going to be quite far.
Yeah.
Apart from each other, and apart from that, there's some no man lands territory which I quite like. Objectives. Well, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's not bad. Again, it was one of those ones that I was never particularly bothered about playing. I like the fact that it's pulled an army into 2 halves, basically, or you can concentrate and give up.
See, it doesn't necessarily. So you could decide to ignore the objective on your left.
Yeah.
And
You have to make a choice.
and then just effectively turn it into a battle for the pass. But I think the interesting thing here is that you get an extra point if you take the objective off of your opponent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good because it means that you probably aren't the reverse of what we said about the scenario earlier, where you're not going to commit a 10-man unit to go and take it.
No, because you don't want to just take.
Because then they'll get the bonus point for the take. But it's whether or not you're then going to countercharge or counterattack with a unit that can take it off. So
You've got to think about it.
You do have to think about it a lot, and you don't want to be flipping them too much. It's also, again, quite a wide. If you wanted to hold 3 of them, you're going to be spread pretty thin. So I agree with Nathan. You're probably going to want to hit stuff on one single flank and then try and roll one of the others. Maybe.
But they're quite far away then. Yeah.
They are quite far away. So what's the quote, Speccles? Movement is.
It's nothing to do with it. Movement is key.
Movement is good. I did like what someone said earlier. They said hordes always have a natural advantage in these objective-based missions. Anyway,
block there. You go.
Yeah, I mean this one really good for if you got a teleport Hannah Gork or a Vexler banner or something like that. Relictor.
That Hand of Gork's going to be good for all your matches, really.
It could also be good to fake taking an objective and then go and take the other, right? And then just get those extra points. I like this. I think I would like to play this quite a bit. This could be quite fun, especially the trading off on points. I'm for this, so I'm going to give this a 6 out of 7. I quite like it.
I think a 5. It was, it's good, but it's too similar to how it was before for me, for anything amazing.
Okay. Nath, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it a 6 as well. I think it's quite cool. I think that extra point for gaining control of objectives is quite an interesting little thing to play around with. I think it'll make some good games.
I think that will make some good games. I just want to quote Dave Frazier here. He says the disappointment. Twitch chat also, what's your rating out of 7? He says the disappointment of being an inch and a half less than expected reminds me of dating when I was younger, and the disappointment on every girl's face as they said the same. See, now, Dave, that's the disappointment of me dating right now. And Speckles can't wait for the day when he's going to go on a date.
I went on a lovely date, thank you very much. You were a true gent.
Oh, yeah, I did. Took you out for Father's Day. Yeah. Duality gives it a 6.5 out of 7, so he really likes this one, which is cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Next up, I think my favourite mission from the last Generals Handbook, Focal Points.
Yes.
So there you go. So focal points. This is the only mission where there are 5 objectives on the board. You can see the picture there. You also start 18 inches apart. Yes, you do. Yeah. 18 inches apart from each other, but there's a huge area for territory. Just want to see what the guys in the chat said. Warhammer Rob gives the last scenario 6 out of 7. Captain Andrew gives it 5.5 out of 7, and Lofthammer a 6. There you go. Right. So 5 inches. So 5 objectives. What do you guys think of this?
I like this. I always did like Focal Point. And again, when we played this weekend, I was like, oh, Focal Point. I instantly thought, right, we need to do that. And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, no, that looks completely different. Like, how do I do it? And it's the same. They've just twisted them round. So holding the 2 points counts as 3. But it's really good. I like it. It's just a fun game to play.
It's very trading. I also really like this a lot. But they've shifted it around. They've done they've got that new kid doing
Swivel
swivel it 45 degrees.
Saw a kid in the chair, spinning in a chair in the office, and went, "We can use this."
So what do you think, Dave?
Uh,
Oh, this is going to be fun. I can't wait.
no. I like the scenario.
There's a book coming.
No, it's a bit of a weird one. No, okay, I like the scenario a lot. Focal points has always been cool. It does normally end up about a fight in the middle with little flanking moves. So it's pretty much as it was before.
I don't know. I never thought it was a fight in the middle.
But the center objective is the key objective normally with this one. But then being able to flank and take your opponent's objectives with some sneaky moves, which is cool. Being able to do sneaky moves to get stuff is cool. The only problem is just measuring where the objectives are in this one.
Yes.
Because I think everybody is going to measure it wrong. So
Atreides in the chat has just said, will these graphics be available anywhere? They're better than the ones in the book. So yeah, the book's actually quite complicated. So one of the things that we're going to do as an attempt to help is we're going to
I'd like to see your graphics.
Yeah,
because I have a feeling they might be wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Yeah,
because I think a lot of people are going to look at it and say, "Oh, that's where the objectives are," and that's not where the objectives are. This is triangle maths.
Yeah.
Again.
Don't worry about it.
I cannot wait. I want to play Nathan this just to learn stuff. Because I played this and we probably played it wrong, but yeah, I want to learn some triangle maths.
For starters, those points are not on that. They're not 24 from the edge there.
Listen, don't worry. When we get to it, we're going to release. We're going to release a bunch, basically these little cards. Yeah. So like when we go to tournaments, we give them out and stuff. And again, that's just to facilitate people playing better games because it is a bit complicated. And GW have decided not to do a good job in their own book, so we're going to improve upon that. But please do buy your Generals Handbook, obviously.
Yeah. And then just put these stickers on top.
Yeah. We should get them as stickers that you can stick in.
That was mine there.
Oh
put
my
the stickers.
God.
Bam.
Don't worry, we will get them to you ASAP.
Don't have to worry about taking extra books.
Nathan will do the maths later. Stop it. Nathan, the modern day Pythagoras.
But Rob, that solves the multiple books. Just give out the stickers. Just put them all into one book.
Oh my God, we've just nailed this. Don't worry. But yeah, watch out for the show. Follow us on Twitter or Facebook. We'll let you know when we got them available. But I like this, and I think Nathan's right. It is about the scenario, the objective in the centre.
Yeah.
But it's also fairly wide.
Yeah.
Because previously, when you were on a 45 degree, because of the way that previously, if you follow the objectives as a line, going from corner to corner, you would not that they are. You would be deployed quite wide, so people couldn't really flank you. Yeah. In this scenario, you're going to be deployed quite central, so there might be the opportunity for deep striking and flanking, which I think is very interesting.
Well, we lost our game playing this, but what my theory was...
AD Max says, by the way, shut up, Speccles, with that great idea.
Oh,
that was so funny watching it be so.
I don't know, yes or no.
Like, what? Sorry, Dave, back to you.
I like that. So when we played it, we played. Obviously, we set up here, and we thought we'd just go instead of concentrating straight in the middle where their army can just hit you, just go straight around the side and try and take out one side and go for the 4 points there, and then work round. I thought that would be the easiest way. I mean, it would, but then apparently this greater demon thing can do. It does a lot of damage as those corn demons. A lot of damage.
Yeah.
And then suddenly when you kill a load of rubbish chaff, they bring it back on and it does a lot more damage as well. But yeah, I really liked it. Yeah.
It's cool. Like I say, I think the objective in the middle is going to be where you're going to be concentrating on, but always got to be wary of nipping up a flank, defending your own flanks. So, yeah, it's cool. It's...
out of seven, everyone in the Twitch chat. Also, a nighttime hijinks says Nathan's usually chill until you fuck about with triangles. I don't agree with you more.
He's working out now. It's like...
And then Kadrian says, "Can we have stickers to cover Path to Glory?" So I banned him forever from the chat. And then Gitley says, I love a bit of flanking. I remember fondly my first flank. Don't know if he means...
that is a lot of numbers, Nathan.
Out of 7. Stop doing trigonometry. Yeah, we'll do it after. 7 out of 7 from Captain Andrew. Claptrap says 5 out of 7. Speckles?
I think it's 127279220613578 out of them.
What are you giving it?
I think it's one of the best ones. So 6.5.
Yeah, it's one.
I'll cut a jet in half.
Yeah, it's one of my favourites. I'll give it 6.
I'd also give it a 6. Lofthammer gives it a 6 as well. Also, hi, you gorgeous man. And Adamax says he is triggered Mimetry. Nice. Nice. Steve Dooley also gives it a 6. Heinrich gives it a 3.4159. I think that's pi. Warhammer gives it a 6.5, so he's a big fan of this as well. Yeah, I'm all about that one.
Okay. Well, basically, it's 12.7 inches from the centre.
Okay, you worked it out.
There you go.
Well done. Like,
3D chess.
When we do get the stickers made, Simon, don't forget to get some gold ones for Nate.
Mine's going to have bits of written stuff over the top, so Nathan can explain it to me after.
So next up, I'm going to say these words out loud. Nobody run screaming for the hills, and nobody get triggered. Better part of valor.
Oh.
Right. No, everyone remain calm. Yeah, so the boogeyman of the last edition of Age of Sigmar. Previously, so it's very, very different. Number one.
Really?
It is. Number one, you can't burn any objectives on the first turn.
So you ignore that and then go straight to first turn.
Well, no, you can't burn any objectives on the
No,
first
but if you're ignoring the first turn all the time, it's part of the same thing, really.
Anyway, so that's important. You start 18 inches apart, so you're very close. It's 6 objectives, as it previously was, but you're now playing widthways as opposed to lengthways. So you're playing landscape, not portrait. And there's, the territories are a little bit different as well, because the territories are defined all the way up to the line. However, your deployment zone is going to be 6 inches back from that line, or like something like that. You can see on the map anyway. So it's quite interesting. A lot of the territories and then how far apart you start are quite interesting for where you're going to be able to put your actual terrain pieces. So I quite like that.
Yeah. Well, so you're 9 from your opponent's territory, so it means you've got a 9-inch buffer zone between your opponent's territory and your objective.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. So
Nathan's just happy he's doing maths.
Yeah, he just loves it.
Great.
He loves it. I can't wait for you to do these maps. But we would have to teach you how to use not a pencil so that we could share it.
I'll draw it in the sand for you.
Yeah, I'll let you take a picture, but we went to Australia for 2 weeks. A week. You had to take a single picture.
I did, of a kangaroo.
Oh, you took one of a kangaroo, that was true.
Well, that's the important thing in Australia, isn't it?
Just one of a kangaroo. You didn't take any other pictures. It makes no sense.
No, I took one of a magpie as well.
A magpie? And a kangaroo?
Travels the world. Did we see any animals in when we were at Adepticon? No, only Joe Pagano.
The best of animals.
The best of animals. Right, so you can't burn these in the first turn. Great move, Games Workshop. Great job. Really happy with that.
No.
So, Speckles, tell us what your thoughts are.
I don't like it, because you just go, okay, Mystic Shield, you'll go. And then they go, Mystic Shield, you'll go. And then I'm going to burn all your objectives. Done. It's the same thing. I hate burning objective ones. It triggers.
You are the worst player.
No, because it just forces you to go, well, I don't like it. It's just never been a thing I like. It's just burn. Okay, great. Have fun. You've won. Yeah.
So okay.
For me,
Nate, what are your
bad
thoughts?
for me.
No, I mean obviously it's better.
And there's also scoring is also
unless
different.
you're just going to cast Mystic Shield and
Which is
hand the turn
one
over.
tactic. Who taught me this tactic? That would be you, Rob.
Yeah, but I don't do it when it's a stupid idea. Like, it's not a tactic.
We're going to play this, and I know what you're going to do. I'm going to roll off.
Oh my
You go.
god. So yeah, it does mean that they also can't. They have to hit your lines to get to your objectives.
Yeah, yeah.
And scoring's also a tad different as well.
So you can you can screen your objectives now.
Yeah.
And it's not auto loss for certain matchups, which is great.
Which is what we previously saw. So it's a big change. And being able to screen to quite a depth as well is excellent because you are 18 inches to your objective, but you're a further 6 inches forward. So so Gitley reckons it's better, but still utter shit. 1 out of 7.
Good. Gitley knows what's right.
I don't hate this now. I think it's quite cool. I think it's also there's also quite a big backfield for you, that you've got to watch out for just getting burned. Nate,
On turn, you mean after that first roll off?
oh my god, you're so triggered.
It's true, isn't it? Though.
Oh, it's not. No, I like it. I'd have to play it to see how.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few more times. Well, I've not played this new scenario, but I reckon it's going to be definitely 100% better than it was before.
So from a 1 out of 7 to a 2 out of 7.
Yeah.
So
No, it was a 0
I think
first.
it could be quite fun. It's I think it definitely favors those people that can think about when they're burning shit. So the controlled pyromaniacs out there will definitely enjoy this one. So
And the double turn as well.
Yeah, the psychologist they gave me in secondary school did say that if I could learn to control my pyromania, like I would be in a much better place. But they said the issue was us pyromaniacs are normally just so excited about burning things.
Did he say you'd have loads more valor if you could control your?
He said it'd be the better amount if I could control my burny urges.
Fair enough. I'm going to give it 6 because I reckon it's going to be good. What? Yeah, I think it's a good one.
Speckles, what do you give it?
I'm going to give it
1.
I'm going to double what it was. I'll make it 1.
A 1. Okay, so it's a half. Chucklebait says, you're not also hi Chucklebait. You're not going to have an auto win based on list building for this one, so now thumbs up, but fuck off portrait opposed to landscape. I agree. To almost any game where you have to play portrait as opposed to landscape, fucking sucks.
Unless
but
you're on the
only
end
at
tables.
events where they don't allow you some room on the side tables.
Yeah.
Again, every event in the world is almost always better than a Warhammer World event. Just a fact at this stage. Yeah? Disagree?
Yeah.
Nighttime Hijink says polished turd, 1 out of 7. Warhammer Rob says was a 1 out of 7. Now maybe a 3 out of 7. Captain Andrew says 5 out of 7. I was never burned by this mission. And then Gitley says Gitley for president. Which I also agree with. Cutchat says steaming pile of fences, 0 out of 7. And then Night Team Hijink says 100 times 0 is still 0. Nathan, you love a bit of maths.
He's right.
Yeah, he's right. Darkling, Steve
Get
Goody
all
gives
the
it a
triangles
5.
out.
And the source like, evening, how are you? It says, evening, Rob, Nathan, chat, and the beautiful man Speckles. Mrs. is bathing the baby. Oh, that was such an exciting, it was such an exciting, then such a sad sentence. So got the chance to pop on, been ragging on the new Battleplans. No, we like him. Donaldinho, what have I missed? We've just looked at the new Battle Part of Valor, as you can see on the screen, and we all think it's better, but not great. Apart from Nathan, who thinks it's great because it involves. I don't know this. Do you prefer the missions where you have to do trigonometry to play, or not?
There's no trigonometry in this
That's
one.
what I'm saying. This one doesn't. So, do you prefer it?
He likes this.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with whether I've got to do mathematics or not. Though.
Boring.
What's cool is the burning stuff. I like this one because of the burning stuff.
You like this one because
Because you get to burn.
Controlled burning.
I mean, I suppose it is
Question.
going to be an awesome game if you have actual tokens that you could just set fire to. That makes it a solid.
Well,
10.
that's about what I was about
Yeah.
to say. Question out there.
You're welcome to my world.
Apart from how to play Warhammer.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, please don't say great minds think alike.
Welcome to my world. See, you're thinking like me, and now you got filthy Ironjaws.
Somebody knows the other half of that one.
My big question is if anyone out there is listening to the podcast or as a viewer and you're a Billy Rich Pants, it's not a real thing, but you know what I mean. And when you're playing on your 60-foot yacht, your game of Warhammer on a gyro stabilized table, and not on the one that Valadium had to chop in half, maybe you could get little objectives which you like just burn.
Or
You just
on
like
the
that.
cheap, get party poppers.
That's nothing like burning.
But it's still cool.
Like burning.
It's exciting though, is it not?
I agree. Yeah, it's exciting.
Would you say no if I went, here's 6 party poppers, let's play a game?
But how would I, where they are placed? How would I party pop them?
Someone's face when you win it.
No, when you burn it, you just pick it up and
Pop it.
In their face,
Yes.
which we don't, by the way, encourage or advise. I'm pretty sure that's against terms of service to do something unsafe.
But we know we're going to do.
I thought that's what you're supposed to do on the cam show thing.
No.
Pop off in somebody's face.
Different. Oh no.
That's a very different show.
So, Rob, would you eat a burger with a jalapeno, relish, cheddar cheese, bacon, and peanut butter on it? Because I did it, it was great. No. There are, let me tell you the things I would never eat. A jalapeno, cheddar cheese I would, bacon, no, and peanut butter, yes. But Nathan, would you eat that?
Yes.
Speckles?
Everything but the peanut butter.
Wow, you don't like peanut butter?
Not on a burger.
Let me tell you 3 things I love. Peanut butter, honey, and oranges. Love all 3 of those things. Cadro says indoor fireworks. I agree. But even fancier, outdoor fireworks.
Indoors.
What one of Catherine wheels? There you go, boys.
Yeah, play Warhammer, get blinded. Let's not encourage that. We're against it. Can we just melt our opponent's official multi-system objective marker coins, please? Yes, let's do that. And then number 1 Dark Cover says, I'm a chef. That sounds fucking awful. So there you go. Oh, I need to just... could you guys just spitball something quickly while I bring up the next picture?
So, spits and balls.
Dear God. Dear God.
Spinning balls. What's the name of the next one?
The next one is called Scorched Earth, sir.
Ah, cool. I hope there's fire in this one too.
Actually, yes and no for this one.
Oh. Atreides 17. Thank you very much for donating 1,000 bits to the show. Podcast unit joining live for the first time. Oh, thanks. So you donated 1,000 bits. Thanks for reminding me to drink water. No problem. Staying hydrated is really important.
Especially if you've got to put fire out.
Yeah, especially in the world where we're burning objectives. But also, thanks for being here, Atreides. Also, if he's named after the character in Neverending Story, bonus points, because I fucking love that. Ride Falcor forever and ever. A lot of people, like the emo music of the 2000s, best music of all time. A lot of people attribute that to, like rising existential crisis of millennials. But I actually put that down to absolutely just the film The Neverending Story. Yeah?
Which one?
Pardon me?
All the Neverending Stories.
No, the first. I mean, all of them. They're all fantastic. But yeah. But also, thanks to Tradies, because then we got a flag in the chat. If you donate bits, you get a free little emote that you can use, and it looks like it's a big gay flag, which is fantastic.
This is awesome for all one of us that can see it.
You're not allowed to touch that. You guys do trigonometry on your side.
Okay.
Fine.
So yeah, so this one is 8 objectives.
Yeah, and you don't burn them, you raise them.
With a Z as opposed to
raise
to
them
a
up.
child.
I mean, I still think eight fireworks.
Can we not get like a Realm of Life battle plan where you have to like nurture them, and it's like, and you harvest them on like turn 4, and you're like, ooh.
First game Realm of Life, second game Realm of Death.
Yeah. Let me just get this on the screen for everyone to watch.
Harvest the children.
Harvest them, then burn them.
What is happening in Derby?
But harvesting and burning.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think this will be better than the last one.
So this one you can only raise your enemies' objectives, and you get D3 victory points for them, and you get 1 for your own for each turn that you control it. You're playing Battle for the Past style, so long ways across the board. I mean,
landscape.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You guys have used landscape and portrait for in the same sentence for the different thing.
Shut up!
Like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean,
We have several times, but we've suggested stickers, which is a great idea to have about it.
we've got it. Fireworks and stickers. This has come out of, really.
Yeah, go for it, Nate.
So anyway, it's so you play.
So you start 18 inches apart.
Yep.
And you can't burn, raise with a Z.
Yeah.
You can't raise any of the objectives until turn 2.
Turn 2. Good. And you start how far apart? No,
18
18.
inches
So
apart.
9. The objectives, though, in this one are in the center of each of those.
I mean, I don't
Rectangles.
until you tell me, then I don't believe it. There's no triangles on there; they're squares. I'm waiting.
By the way, if anyone like to
they're not squares.
Well, they're not
They're
squares, no.
rectangles.
if anyone is confused about exactly where to put their objective markers on the tabletop at any point, please tweet. Please tweet at Nathan Prescott. He hates it when people tweet him, so please do.
But he'll always answer.
He will always answer, which is
Not anymore.
So please tweet him and ask him. Just go, is this right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, you were saying, Nick?
Well, your phone seems to be lighting up a lot then.
God, what were you saying? What are you saying about this Mish?
So, yeah, I think this is cool because you've got depth in your loads of depth in this game. I think it's going to be an interesting one to play.
That's all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got. I really, I think it's changed up totally from what it was before, and it's pretty different to all the rest of them. So many objectives to guard and to try and take. So
you don't know which one you want to save, which one you want to take.
So does it favour?
So you can only burn your enemy's objectives.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
But you still want to
control
you
your own,
want to defend your own.
I think I mean, going on from you, I think the best thing about it is whatever your opponent has, like if it's an alpha strike, okay, right, I know I need to stay back. Or if it's not an alpha strike and it's going to summon on, or vice versa, you can counteract your opponent's army with the way you deploy.
Yeah. I do think it'll favour summoning again a lot. And multiple units would be more favourable than like armies where you've got 3 or 4 models. 5 model armies.
6 models, I'm screwed.
Thank you to the Big Goldfish for subscribing for 16 months in a row, you angel. And you can't deploy the Loon Shrine on the board, according to Donaldinho. Don't worry, they're going to fix that. I'm almost certain. And even if they fix it, it doesn't matter because we're already ignoring it.
There was just to go back about those for the way you can deploy stuff this weekend. It was the new scenery objective things.
Yeah.
Wait, so you had to deploy scenery?
Your own scenery piece, like null hole, the null hole things for Skaven. And Andy Hughes is playing. It's like it's gonna be great. And I might not get to use them. And they said all scenery has to be outside of 6. All of it. His face dropped so hard it was unreal. And then they went at the end, except for Skaven, they can do it. He looks. I've never seen a man look so relieved in my entire life. It's like
so what Speccles is talking about there is also in the new GHP. So you have terrain features. So a terrain can have a sort of mystical power, but also they've institutionalized a set of match play scenery rules for deploying scenery, which categorically as a community we're ignoring. I've spoken to all the other guys. Everyone rang me.
You spoke all of them.
All of them. Everyone. I can speak so many languages now.
Oh, no, you can't.
Just people like a Mexican guy was like, "El no." Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. And then the fucking China rang me up. They're like, "Hey, no." I was like, "Okay." Like, and then they all rang me, and we just ignored.
What about the Welsh?
Hey, listen, my lad. No.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so yeah, everyone rang us, and we've said, and I said, because I was like,
why are they ringing me?
I don't want to be in charge. You guys make the choice, and everyone was like, nah, fuck it, we're not doing it, which is interesting in a variety of languages. So,
whatever those languages are that you've tried to do, I don't know.
Which is fun, so don't worry about that. So while there is some sort of rules, none of us are paying attention, so just ignore that, which is great. There we go. Unless you go to the most substandard tournament you can go to in the world for Warhammer, which would be the one at Warhammer World. So interestingly, my favourite thing about this, I've just done too many jokes at the expense of the Baldric Company, is the 8 objective markers is 2 more than the multi-system objective markers.
I was going to say that, but you beat me to it already. It's also 3 more than what I've got of my custom built ones as well.
So it's the first time we've had 8 objectives. What do you think of that? That's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's quite a cool change up. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out as people play it. And
it means I've got to build 3 more fucking objective markers, which is going to be a bit of a pisser. But other than that,
oh my god.
I'm like, I was 5.
How hobby are you? You're like, oh.
Well, I specifically didn't build 6 for those fucking burning objectives. And like, if we're playing this, you can use your own things to burn. You know what I mean? These. And now I've got to go because I think this one. I think it's gonna be good.
Raising them?
Well, that's why now I've got to do it, haven't I? But I think it'll be good.
Twitch chat. I reckon that we should all encourage Simon to paint not only 8
Fireworks.
not only 8 objective markers, which are all eggs. You should have then them 8 times 5, where the objective markers grow in size as they raise. Yeah, RAISE as opposed to, yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, good.
Get on it.
Kadra says, "Shut up, Speccles." And the big goldfish says, "Just as I started an elite dwarf army, they put loads of objectives. I can't get too lol."
So same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. I like this. I like that there are 8. To be honest, I like the deep striking element of it. That you can go that you can only burn your opponent's objectives. That's quite cool. So it means that you're going to have to go out there and actually play and fight.
Yeah.
What's really nice as well is you're going to have a pretty strong front line because you're quite close. So you're going to have to really defend quite heavily, especially so they don't get burnt. But then that means, or you could intentionally let them burn 1, so that they overextend, and then you can jump into their backfield, and then potentially hit them at the front and the back at the same time.
Yeah.
But there could be some real sneaky plays.
So great for Slanesh.
Yeah, good for
DP.
flying units as well.
Flies, yeah.
Yeah, because you get the double turn. Imagine you put eels 3 inches outside of the line to charge, right? And then you get the double. If I was the eel player, I'd just fly the fuck over. If you got the range, and then just go grab their back pods, and then the guy be like,
Thank you.
"Shit, wasn't expecting that."
Oh no, they're going to hit me with an electric bolt. No, I'm going to jump right over the top.
Yeah, that'd be fucking cool.
And then next turn we'll be fighting
Then
first.
we'll fight you.
Huh?
And then next turn we'll be fighting first.
Yeah.
Come get me.
Best army. And then Gitley says that you're a racist.
Who is?
You do.
I'm the one having to build all these
And,
things.
and the best Darkling covers player in the world has just put, none of these missions are good for the covers. And he would know. He's the best in the world at them.
He is.
So that's a shame. I'm sorry, brother. And then Soul's Christ, just steal objectives. That's right. Just go over there, nick that gold. I like this, and I'm going to give this a 7 out of 7.
I think it's good. I'll give it a 6.
Yeah.
It is going to favour fast units, flying units, summoning as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go 6. I don't know 7 because I've not played it.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. But I'm going to go with that. Twitch chat, what are you guys thinking? I'd love to know. I like this a lot. I think it's cool. And I like that there are 8 objective markers because then we need to make 8 objective markers.
Fuck me, 3 more.
Well,
Do you know how difficult it is finding bits of pieces that I've not used and covering it in blood on a base? It's ridiculous.
Does it take you all of 12 minutes to do?
do you have to build the ones for your opponent as well?
Well, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, yeah. That's good, yeah.
That's what I was doing.
Claptrap says,
nice.
played this already and really fun. Captain Andrew says, good for Nighthorn. Warhammer says, Rob only likes it because he plays chain shows now.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you not noticed? Anytime we've talked about anything Deep Strike, my eyes are fucking lit up. I've been like, what? Yes.
You mean I can do this?
Nighttime Hijink says, my 6 overpriced objective markers rate this 5 out of 7.
Also with his horrible little list, when he puts those 10 pink horrors on there, and you hit them, and that's it, they die, you're like, yeah, I've got it. And then 20 fucking blues appear. No, you haven't. It's designed to just stop anything from burning. You
Correct. Not if I get doubled, though. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
No, because then you've only got... Oh, no, you'd have to...
That's not how it works. And then Claptraps gives it a 7 out of 7. Heinrad gives it an 8 out of 7. So there's some big love for this, which is good. Nighttime Hijinks, as I said, my 6 overpriced objective markers rate this a 5 out of 7. Pi UK says I can ignore 6, so ignoring 8 should be no bother.
So glad he was the brains this weekend.
He's just got to be 20% more ignoring and he can nail it.
He was definitely the brains this weekend for our game.
Great.
It's still twice
Tell me
as good.
something I don't know. I would love to watch Nathan comment a game between you and Bar. Gitley says 8 out of 7 and Lofthammer 8. So loads of love for that.
Oh, really?
Next up, Duality of Death. Yeah, we haven't covered this. This has changed before. No, we haven't covered this. Good. So there you go. So, loads to say about this. Number 1, where you can place the terrain, very limited.
Yeah, these are tiny little
Tiny little boxes. Yeah.
Really small territory and really far spread out.
Yeah, 24 inches away from each box is 24 inches apart, and also each, like, your opponent and you are 24 inches apart.
Yeah.
You also, very interestingly, can score Duality of Death with heroes and battle line units. So it's a nice change up, which is cool. I really like that.
It's the same for me.
And they are in no man's land, so you're gonna have to go out there and get them. But I do like that it now, as we've got battle line units, can go and grab it as well. It at least means you can play it a bit. I like it, but it's going to be really hard for armies that want to either play together or aren't very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does definitely.
It knackers synergized units.
Also, it's going to be tough, as Dassault says. Let's see the Gits get a shrine in on this one.
Yeah, they're going to struggle on this.
Yeah.
Because wherever they get the shrine, they're not going to be able to put the units.
Which is where the units want to be, near the shrine.
Over there.
Yeah.
Let's run towards it. No.
So that's going to be really challenging, I think. I'm trying to think of the other terrain pieces as well that have to go wholly within your territory. The Fane does. That does as well, but that doesn't matter. That's just at the back of the board as far away as right. I don't know. Well, it's interesting.
That Slanesh one, does that need to?
The Fane has to be in your territory as well. Like most of the new ones have to be inside your territory, which is exciting. Yes, toughie. It's a toughie for the scenery pieces. 24 inch apart I like, which is fun. And it's going to be quite cagey, I reckon, this scenario. And it's going to be hard. You're going to just put everything in one to try to fit it all in? Is it going to be really hard for Horde armies? Can they even fit it all in?
Really, really struggling. Struggling. I think it's gonna benefit some builds like Slanesh.
Well,
double keeper builds.
Well, Par's put in here. Took one look at this and I dropped the Free Peoples. So they're an army that play completely together, right?
Yeah.
And then the one article says I don't have any terrain, so I don't fucking care, which is also true. Right? If you don't have terrain, you're not. I mean, you're laughing. Obviously, movement's going to be huge on this.
Yeah. Like Slanesh.
And as Nathan pointed out before, you score points based on the turn number.
Oh no! So this one you, for the number of turns that you've held the consecutive turns that you've held the objective.
So you have to get on there, and you have to get on there early.
Yeah.
That's going to be big.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be just a question of
two big monsters, two big blocks.
It's going to be your battle line units that are going to go and grab it.
Or Marathi.
Fucking Marathi.
Well, no, I like the double keeper list. Double keeper demonettes. Split them up because they'll do exactly the same thing. Launch them forward.
There you go. Simon's cracked
it. Simon's cracked the code.
40 goals, 2 tag guys. Go.
Okay, I guess so.
But double Maw Crusher, stuff like that, you're going to see it more duplicates of big monsters and hordes.
Yeah, I don't know for Ironjaws because everything in Ironjaws is either battle line or hero. There's nothing that isn't either of those things.
Yeah.
So your whole army can score.
Yeah.
Which is huge. Yeah, I'd say the fact that it's gone to battle line is really big, and now it's just a battle for 2 scenarios, so it's a lot less interesting. It has a huge impact on army list building because you're not too stressed about the army list building if this battle plan is in the mix.
Yeah, it's not as constrictive as it was before, especially with having
like heroes and monsters. Like Fire Slayers did not like it when it's heroes and monsters. Obviously, just popping off a couple of because you never really saw Magmadroths and Fire Slayers did not like
you did you see them now.
No, you see them now, but you never did before, did you?
You didn't see Fire Slayers before.
Well, no, back in old days.
Right. Okay. Giddy says it makes life harder for my army as you have to divide your forces pretty much, but I also think that's a good thing. What I don't like is that you can deep strike between the territories, which is interesting, and divide a force. Chuckabutty says finally one that might actually be good for my Stormcast because they have a lot of battle line units normally. Morgan Stormsmasher says if you can fit your army on one row of battle board and say plus a Nominus that Oculum and your faction terrain, then that is the maximum number of models you should take to a tour based on this and new Battle for the Pass. Kedro says Free Gold and Wanderers are fucked. And then you can place down to force your opponent to deploy most of the forces on one side. Talking about the gnaw holes, because obviously you put the gnaw holes down and then you can just
Well, Seraphon can
Zone
just
out
teleport
your
2
opponent,
units straight away.
Oh.
So this is great for Seraphon.
It would also be really good for a sweet. There's a sweet model out there who plays musical instruments, and his name is the Nyaralda. And he would love if you put your entire army around one piece of terrain piece. Yeah. Volkites with shields, fuck everyone. I'm keeping all the gold, says the big goldfish, which I think is true as well. So, what do you guys rate this as? How do you feel about it? I think it's an improvement, realistically.
Yeah, I like it because
Yeah.
it's got the battle line in.
It's something different.
It's just an improvement.
Yeah,
It's not overly different.
Yeah,
No, I mean, well, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, it might trigger me. I've got to work out how to make it'll look weird in my head because I have 3 dragons one side and 2 the other. So it's not synergized for me. It just looks weird.
Unbalanced.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think it's gonna be an interesting one to see how it plays out. It does force you to think out of the box, really, which is quite cool because there's 4 boxes there.
Think outside of the 4 boxes.
Is that a
Nice.
maths joke there as well?
There's another math joke mixed with some punnage. Okay, the Twitch chat says it's going to be interesting and much more playable for Sylvaneth, 5 out of 7. Gitley says 5 out of 7. Parr says 5 out of 7. And then Captain Andrew gives it a 7 out of 7. Plague Monks can fit in the deployment, 18 each corner.
It's not like 14 each
he
one.
really likes those Plague Monks.
What, the Nurgle ones?
Oh my god. What did you guys give it?
I'm gonna give it 5.
5 as well, yeah.
I am going to give it. I don't want to fit in with the crowd. Hashtag.
Special.
My memoir. My memoir. Yeah, I'm gonna also give it a 5. Yeah, I think so as well. Right, next up, 3 places. No, just not 3 places. Just places
Just places.
of arcane power. And then Nightmare Darkling's cover gave it a 0 that last mission.
Wow.
Yeah. He did not like it. So 3 places of arcane power. I don't think I exported this PNG correctly.
Does
so
he
apologies.
just like to fight in one place?
Yeah, one place.
Only
Darkling
one
Covers
place.
like to fight in one place, one time. That's all they
Where
can
they
survive.
want you to fight.
So it's for 3 objectives. You are, let me just get this right. You are 24 inches apart, and it is scored. Wizards score are worth more than other characters, or it can only be scored by wizards. I do forget my notes are on the other piece.
I think it's just heroes.
It's just heroes, there's no wizard keyword there, is there?
Yeah, it's just heroes.
Just heroes score.
So the normal rules, instead of player controls an objective, a friendly hero is within 3 of the objective. At the end of any type of move, apart from a retreat, lose control if that hero is not within 3 of it. So you can't gain it by retreating on it, but if you're within 3 of it, you've taken control of it. You can retreat and stay within 3 and still maintain control of it.
Yeah, it's just heroes. Yeah.
So what do you guys think of this?
I like it.
So it's not as restricted. The thing before was where it was wizards and then dudes with
Artifacts.
artifacts. Was
It hindered a lot of armies.
yeah. I just think it's more inclusive. So cool.
Nathan, you're such a hippie nowadays. So most people don't know this, but me and Nathan occasionally do shifts as what are called herd boys. Yeah, this is don't worry, Speccles, we haven't invited you out to be herd boys yet. Nathan does the day shift, I do the night shift. And us night shift workers quite pale, but we're not very hippie centric. But the fucking day shifters have become such hippies nowadays.
Dark and hippie.
Hashtag, can we get this on Twitter, please? If you do tweet Nathan to ask him to do you maths, can you hashtag woke Nathan, where he's drinking his soy boy lattes. It is more inclusive, which is a good thing, Nathan.
Yeah.
Always a good thing.
Oh my god,
Always a good
you
thing.
fucking hippie! I can't wait for this to be a thing. Which is good, but then it hasn't really changed much of old.
No.
No.
I mean, for me, most of my heroes are always wizards, so it never really affected me. But
You really do play a fucking absolutely dumb as fuck
It's
army, don't you? It's
all-
it's a
no,
model
I'm on
that's
about
your
all
scoring
death.
unit, your murdering unit. Yeah, it's
All my
also your
death.
battle line unit. Yeah.
It does everything. They're just all inclusive.
Yeah, it is all inclusive.
friendlier.
That's correct. Yeah, Age of Sigmar.
Everything gets to do everything. Why not? See, it's not a bad thing. Although
Nate, you got any thoughts beyond your? I don't want to listen to your hippie manifesto. I just want to know what you think of the battle plan, and if you got no real thoughts. I think it's very much how it played before.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to what it was before. Just they've just spread the net
Wider.
Yeah.
And you already had to. And if you guys are going to a tournament that does include this in a list, you do think about your armies. Also, with potentially the rise of more shooting in Age of Sigmar, you might have this be an issue. I quite like this because trapping things in with endless spells is going to be really fun. You can like throw a couple of predatory endless spells onto an objective before your opponent moves there. Number one, you could potentially block them moving in, which is really uninteractive and terribly awful. Yeah. Hashtag not inclusive.
Oh, so this is the inclusive side, and that's the
but-
uninclusive side.
But also it means that if they end up jumping onto that objective to claim it, that during the priority phase they could be taking a bunch of mortal wounds, which could be a good way of dealing with them, and a good use of those mid-range endless spells, I reckon. What do you guys want to give it out of an inclusive 7?
It's 6, I think. I like it.
Yeah, again, I guess it's different because this one is all about the heroes.
It's
So
got the hordes as well, just going, I'm going to stick 60 unmovable things on it, and that's it.
So it's pretty good in that I think it'll influence how people build lists a lot because you're going to have heroes that can compete in this scenario.
There's only one, like the Marathi, obviously, is the best
Marathi,
for this.
well, she'll
loves it, but
She fucking loves these.
but other than that, I mean, heroes can be tanky, but they're not unmovable.
Yeah, there's very few that are.
Yeah. A block of 60 is difficult to move, of anything.
Okay, Speccles' army is like playing with Duplo while the rest of us play with Meccano. Captain Andrew says 5 out of... That's from Chuckle Buddy. Captain Andrew says 5 out of 7. I like this one, mixing up people's thoughts on army composition.
Yeah.
And I agree with that as well. So I like its inclusion in a pack because it does do that. However, I question... It's got more inclusive, which is nice. But does it have to be in all the packs? Like, do we always have to have this?
I'll give it a 6. I quite like this one. Yeah.
6. All right. Swan Mighty says 6. Gitley says 6. Dassel says, welcome to Honest-Wargamer, where everything is 6 out of 7. Nighttime Hijinks. We did cuss some earlier. Nighttime Hijinks says 5 tie-dye t-shirts out of 7. Oh, my God. Twitch chat. I don't ever ask you for much. Yeah, please make out that Nathan's a hippie all the time. Just let that be a thing. Make memes.
It's not a bad thing.
Denise, if you're
What's wrong with
listening.
that?
Just all of you, if you could.
Drinking, free love, being happy. It's not a bad thing.
I'm not saying it is. He said it in the pub last night. He said, "I'm such a fucking hippie nowadays," and now we're going to make it a thing, which is going to be great. I will give this a very Nathan 6 out of 7. Finally, in the book, it does say that it is the relocation orb, but we all know it as the greased up goblin.
Yeah. Somebody asked me about it the other day, and I was like, I can't remember what the name of it is. The greased up goblin one. And they went, oh yeah, I know that one. I can't remember the name of it, but that's all everyone knows it as.
The greased up
They
goblin.
just don't know the real name. They just know the greased up goblin.
It's called the relocation orb, but we all call it the greased up goblin. Also, good day, Elf Bro. How are you? Big love to you. Nathan with Gloomspite like shrimps. That's true. Oh my God, first time I've seen this map. Also, this is Donald Dino's first time he's seen the map, apparently, but what the fuck? And then also, Nathan, is it true that you are now playing Sylvaneth in this Generals Handbook because you're such a giant fucking hippie?
No, it's all about the shrooms.
It's all about the shrooms. Right, so... Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You play Gloomspite. Oh, my God, we can make it a thing. Thank you so much, because the mushrooms. Just going to use my mushroom? Of course you are, you fucking hippie. Right, so as you can see on the deployment map, your armies will start not 24 inches apart, but 22.77 inches apart. Hashtag trigonometry. and there are now only 4 places that the greased up goblin can run to, and it more consistently will run into the middle every turn. The deployment, your territory is also 22.77 inches apart as well. So, what do you guys think of this?
I think I'll see it and probably play it as much as I did the old version, which is twice. Genuinely twice. You never saw it. Everyone was like, "Do you want to play that?" Oh, I can't bother. It's too much. But I just think it's one of those ones that won't be seen.
You think it won't be seen at tournaments?
No, I don't think everyone will look at it and go, "Nah, there's loads of others better we can put in there."
I actually think that I think it's way better than the previous version.
Yeah.
Because of there being a limited amount, but I also think because of the consistency of it being in the center or to just the right and left of the center, it's not particularly spread out. So it really is going to just be like a smash in the middle. Yeah. And because the armies are just lined up against each other, I think that's also going to be a smash in the middle. So. I don't really like it. I don't think. I also think because of where the objectives are, you can pretty much, if you get the first turn, you can run up, swamp your opponent, and you can probably guard off where it's going to land quite effectively. So it's going to be quite hard for.
Well, that was always a problem though, because is it the same where you get more points for going second?
Yes.
Yeah. So and heroes get more. So because you're so close, you're gonna obviously, if you can, give them your opponent a turn, and you should quite easily be able to get a couple of heroes over and just take over.
Yeah, so it's heroes with the artifact of power or wizards. So again, it's less inclusive again. They count as 20 models.
We're not about this. We're not about this.
God, you're going to get cussed out for being a hippie so much. It's so great.
Which I'm not that bothered about because you still your normal models still count, so you can counter them. I kind of quite liked that mechanic of it. And at the beginning, the mechanic where you score 3 in the second, if you take in the second turn, I thought I liked that. But then as we played that scenario more often, I played it loads more than just 2 times. I seem to end up playing it quite a few times. I think that mechanic is less cool than it seems on paper, really.
Yeah.
Because if your opponent can just keep giving you the turn and scoring the 3,
you're never going to win it.
Yeah, it does make the turn roll so much more of a thing, and it just makes it harder to play for, I think. So that part of it drops it down to a 4 for me.
Well, yeah.
But if it was just scoring as per normally, you just get a point for controlling it, then I'd probably put it at like a 6, I reckon. But
okay. What do you reckon, Sam?
Well, I think it's because you, like you said, you are so much closer, and you kind of roughly know where it's going to go. Big heroes like Arcane, Nagash, Great Unclean One build, Marathi. Just going to see them go, I'll step forward 2 inches. Now it's going to be mine for 3 out of the 6 places, and then the rest will take it with the rest of the army. Like I said, I don't think I'll ever play it. I don't think PAX ever put it in, because people obviously look at that and go, people aren't going to want to play that.
Well, and as Par has pointed out in the chat, and as you guys can see on there, it doesn't tell you where the fuck the objectives are. As in, they just haven't put the measurements on. And while it's not overly confusing to work out. Sometimes it is.
I've got Nathan. We've got stickers. So
yeah, we've got stickers on the way. I personally would just write in the Generals Handbook, to be honest. But I just think it's not particularly interesting. I agree with Nathan. I don't think the mechanic makes lots of sense. As in, just...
You go first.
It becomes,
I'll win.
Yeah, it just becomes more of a dice... to
do with the priority roll.
Yeah.
And we already get
who
accused
can roll
of...
the dice from.
We already get accused of it being incredibly monumental to the game anyway, and it really isn't. I don't think. Darsaw says the single objective also makes games end quickly. Donaldinho gives it a 0 out of 7 unless you're a hippie. KJ gives it a 1. That time Magic says I'll give it a 5 out of 7 because it looks like the time Nathan went on a spirit quest. And then Hawkeye says you'd surely just put 5 objectives on and then have a primary one for scoring. That makes loads of sense and is smart. Good work there, Hawkeye. So you just put 5 objectives down. You say, right, we're scoring this one today. Yeah. And then 2 out of 7, and then Gitley says he feels dizzy, which I think is a fair point. It does kind of look like the drawing of someone who's just pissed trying to work their way home. Have you ever mapped your own trip home on Google Maps after a night on the beers?
No, that would be quite. I need to
should.
do that from Saturday.
You should. It would look a lot like that, I think. So I give this a 1. I think this sucks.
I mean, that pattern looks like you could get it tattooed on the small of your back and.
You mean it'd be Samstar?
How inclusive is that? You get that on a spirit blanket or something, or tattooed on the side of your drum circle drums. So that's all of them.
Yeah.
That's all of them overall. I give that a 1. You guys give it a.
I'll give it a 2, just for the fact that that's probably as many times I'll play it.
Yeah. I mean, if you do play it often. There's the interesting mechanic of how obviously you know that you've been given the turn, so you've got something you can try and do about the fact that you know your opponent's going to score more on the second half of that turn, and it does mean that you're more likely to win the priority roll the next turn. So there is something in it. But yeah, I'll give it a 4.
I would say also one of the things as well. You guys can't see that on the picture, but inside the book there's these little like tags on the map. So I think the objectives, the closest objective in is 18 inches in. Is that right or not?
I'm not even going
to
attempt. It's like exciting times.
Go on,
Dave. Gets to do the math.
You can just say each of those little indentations is 24.
They're not on our map.
Oh, okay. So the first one is in the center of that square, so it's 12 and 12, and the next one is 12 and then 24 from the side.
So they're all in 12-inch increments.
And then the center one's just dead in the center, 24 on and 36 across, and then the mirror image the other side, 12 and 12 and 24
there you go. Easy
and 12.
peasy. Easy peasy. I mean, you could have just included it with a line with the number in, but sure. Never mind. That would be Baldric.
That would be dumbing it down.
One of the things that before we get to our kind of like final analysis of the objectives, one of the things that's come up recently is someone did an expletive about some of the rules that were contained inside the GHB. Sometimes Games Workshop do make some really silly rules and have some silly ideas. Now, the issue is you need to try and like take the viper out of the stupidity of the situation, I think, because it's just going to be unhealthy for all of us. I know I, for one, can sometimes become frustrated and annoyed, and really, why would I go about my day being frustrated and annoyed because someone else is stupid? Don't make no sense. Why not be amused by it? So I like the idea that Baldric from Blackadder sometimes make decisions. Yeah, and this, imagine he said, I've got a cunning plan. I'm going to make a scenario where it's going to move around. And as soon as you picture that, you're like, that's really chilled me out, that has. So if ever you're stressed by a rule or you think, my unit's so overcosted, just think of Baldric going, I've got a cunning plan. I reckon this should be 180 points.
Or 90 points.
Huh?
Or bloody 90 points.
Or bloody 90 points. Do you think that will help you guys out, or you're not too stressed by that? Nathan, obviously, you're so relaxed because you're a hippie. But what do you reckon, Speckles? Talking to the mic, please, gents.
Other than the 90 points, yeah, I think it's great. I just don't let it get to you. Yeah.
You
Have fun. Have fun. Free love. Everything.
And Baldric's there.
Yeah. Baldric's there. Just give him a hug. Everyone needs a Baldric. You two have got me.
For our free love.
Yeah. No.
What was also said, the reason they don't tell you all the measurements is theoretically, the Battleplan is also written to work on a 4x4, theoretically. Although I don't think we've actually given that to Nathan to test that out. He shook his head.
No.
And then Harry says, is Speckles still seeing a salty bitch over High Queens when he still plays Flesh at Courts?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to own that. No problem.
Hawkeye says you probably lost all international views. If you guys don't know, you can watch a TV show called Blackadder. It's on YouTube. Watch it. There's
Netflix.
There's a gentleman in it called Baldric who they based on you, Speckles.
Kind of before I was born. A little bit difficult.
You based on him.
I mean, if you're saying Back to the Future's real,
which
then
would make
yes.
Nathan Blackadder, obviously, and then it would make me
Lord Flashheart.
No, Melchits. I want to be Melchits. Yeah, darling.
Yeah, it's basically a true history of the British Isles.
It's
Yeah.
scarily accurate.
Yeah.
Right. So overall, what do you guys think of the scenario? What do you think of the battle plans? Like this edition, some are monumentally different, but some are not particularly different. What do you think, guys?
I'm excited to play a few, especially the Scorched Earth one. Obviously, it was a built more bloody objective markers, but yeah, it'd be good. Star Strike's the only one that's kind of let it down for me.
Yeah.
Just a little bit down. It's just the fact that I just don't think. I think it's just going to be a smash in the middle for me. But yeah, overall, really good.
Yeah. Well, don't forget everyone equating us as characters, Speccles to Percy, and asking if whether or not you like turnips. Baldrick works at the Games Workshop rules department. He's not here.
Yeah, it's not really me.
It's not us. It's them. So
They're not going to employ me.
Nathan, what do you think overall?
I think they're an improvement on before. So yeah, I think they're going forwards definitely.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I think they're a big improvement. Even the ones that were rubbish are somehow better, but still rubbish, but better rubbish. Yeah. So that's great. So one of the things that we're going to do after this. Oh, hey, whoa! Thanks for subscribing for a whole year. Wowee, that's lovely. Yeah. I like that Nathan Speckles are the wrong way around, but Nathan's okay with it as it's inclusive. So I've done the overlay.
We can't see this.
I've done the overlay wrong. Don't worry about it. I can't not hear Baldrick now when Speckles talks.
Thanks. I'll take it. He was cool. I like him.
Yeah, he's great. I think they've made it better, which is great, but not too different. So that so the importance of the battle plans, realistically, for me, are huge because they effectively define Age of Sigmar as we understand it, and I would say it's what separates the beast from the burden of 40k to some degree, where there's a very I mean, the games are so much different because of the battle plans, and even Total Commitment, which I ranked on, does mean that it changes the shape of the game that we play, which is quite exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting when I do coverage. I know that for a fact because it sets like another parameter, although it is a wild set of parameters. When it comes to tournament packs, Twitch chat and you two, would you like to see a more cohesive look at battle plans?
How do you mean?
So a really good example would be we've just had we're going to have Crimbobo.
Yeah.
So Johnny and John, who run the Bobo events, they do at least 2 very large tournaments a year now, and they're not the only people to do those, but they are some of. It'll be really interesting to see if the Crimbobo pack has a set of battle plans that is different or identical to the one that they decide to do at Bobo next year, or will they go for like a tailored pack where they're like, okay, well, we're going to focus on as many missions as we can where we're 24 inches apart, or as many missions as we can where it's all about, take and hold or knife to the heart style scenarios. Are we going to see packs? Or because every event is done independently, and I talk about Bravery One, the Bobo event, because it's an incredibly successful event and it's the same TOs.
Yeah.
That it's not because of our community being run by a whole bunch of different TOs who do great work. We're going to see a more cohesive system where it's like, okay, well, if we look at America, for instance, I know Adepticon's just been, but you've got Nova and then you've got LVO.
Yeah.
Are they going to do Nova for the Americans, and then they have a pack, and they're like, oh, we'll pick a bit of each, Hero one and the other one, and then you're just going to see LVO do the other one of those missions. So effectively, it's the same environment. Or would you like to see more diversity in the packs? That's what I'm asking. Obviously, Nathan, we know your answer, but still feel free to answer.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's a fair amount of diversity, even the ones that are similar. So, like if you look at the Battle for the Pass deployment, it makes it pretty unique. Same with the Duality of Death. Just the way they've altered the deployment things. Scorched Earth having so many objectives again. It's not really the same as Total Commitment. Not Total Commitment. The other one where you burn them. Better Part of Valor. Just because the layout is totally different. So it's not like they're 2 similar ones. They're still similar, but they're not as similar as they used to be, basically.
Yes.
the pairs that where you had Scorched Earth, Better Part of Valor, they were pretty similar, whereas now they're a lot more different from each other.
They are absolutely. So putting both of them in a pack would be very interesting,
you
right?
could, you could do that quite easily. I do think if tournaments are going to use like a janky, skewed pack, then they probably want to release that pack at the time that they sell the tickets, so that people know what they're buying themselves into.
I would also.
Whereas a lot of tournaments at the moment just sell the tickets
and then make the pack.
And then, like 4 weeks before the tournament, they then say,
"This is what
we're doing." But then, to be fair to tournament organisers, because I'd say two things. Number one, I agree with you. I think as a customer, and everyone listening, we're all customers of tournament organisers, and I've got huge love for all tournament organisers. Big love to all you guys out there. I would argue that obviously vote with your feet and go to events that try really hard. Yeah, that would be number one. And also vote with your feet on making sure that the TOs of those events put those out. But then to justify that, the TOs are normally doing this at a cost or a loss most of the time, and therefore. And we're in this really new place where the game is way more professional than it's ever been. And we as customers, and what's ludicrous is all the baldricks at Warhammer World in our 40-degree heat. No, not the players, the TOs, in the 40-degree heat with the boards that aren't really fit for purpose on slidey hills where we don't have a gap in between the tables and we're like bunched in like sardines. That's a really bad example of an event. So, the other TOs have traditionally looked to this multinational company and gone, what do I do? So there hasn't been, the professionalism that major events should be doing is still something that everyone's learning. So I don't ever want to rag on a TO, is what I'm trying to get at. Because I'm saying massive love, which is why I wanted to do this show, because I know that I spoke to the guys down at Bad Moon Cafe. The last time we did this show, they used it for their tournament packs, which is why after this, the next show I'm going to do is going to be a conversation with loads of tournament organisers, and then we'll write packs out that people can just download.
Yeah.
Because if you're like a TO and you're like, I don't want loads of stress, you're like, cool, I'll just download a pack. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
And then you can run little one-dayers and you can have fun. Because I get asked that question all the time. What's the best scenario for a one-dayer? And I'm like, we got asked it at the start of the show, right? It's like, well, I don't know, but it's a big, long conversation to work out.
What kind of touch do you want? I know. Obviously, with GW it's not great in there, but like I said, the TOs though, I was talking to them there, and they were saying they want to make some changes, but they just can't. They're struggling. They can, but they're struggling. The TOs, obviously,
but we'll ignore that because that's literally one event in Nottingham, and we're talking to everyone in the world. I've got people who I talk to pretty regularly all across the globe who I have a really good relationship with. And I want all of the events around the world to be good. So I think that'll be a good thing, right? Because I also would be super pumped if someone advertised it, the one where it's all heroes. They're like, right, it's the all hero tournament. But wouldn't you list write? I love list writing. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and it would definitely make it more of a
dynamic.
Thing.
Yeah, I think it would make it more dynamic as well. And we talked about it a little bit last year. So now the Honest Wargamer is going to go the whole way, and we're going to just put it all out. And not because we want that to be what it is. We're going to give all the options.
Just choose, pick any of them,
so someone can download it and choose it. And if people just decide, and then if the will of the people and also the will of the TOs is just we want it all to be the same, then that's wonderful. Yeah. Obviously, Nathan, I know you'll agree with that.
The will of Mother Earth.
The will of Mother Earth.
All in the realm of life.
But it would be really cool to do something that can just be something really click downloadable, especially for people who want to run their first event. So I'm going to ask a bunch of TOs to give me the info for that. So that'll be fun. I like these.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on them?
It's so much more inclusive. It's great.
Yeah, fuck them.
All right, cool. Then we're done for the day. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone watching. You guys have been wicked, especially with your thoughts. Oh, Elko Reb, thank you for donating 1,000 bits to the show. That's very fucking lovely.
Thank you very much.
That's very, very nice. Thank you to everyone who has donated bits to the show today.
He's gone straight to the Ironjaws bit.
Oh, on the back of the
first page. Ironjaws.
I want to say thank you to Nathan and Speccles being on the show. Thank you very much, gents.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys loads. I'm very lucky to have you guys, as well as everyone on the Wargamer. Big shout out to Scrivo for doing the pictures. Appreciate that loads.
Yes. Thanks for including me, Scrivo, finally.
When's the meeting engagement pack coming out? Oh, Nathan's writing it right now. I want to say, again, a big thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch for helping us do things like this and kind of improving the environment for everyone. You guys are wicked. I'll let you know about the community show when we're going to start doing that. And we'll also, thank you very much also again to everyone for donating to help sort Jet out.
Yeah,
we'll update as things go.
Yes, so Thursday's Operation Day. So
Operation Day.
we'll see what happens.
So we'll bring you the Par UK. Thank you for subscribing to 16 months in a row. He also says another month. ... Another month where you can ignore all the objectives on the board.
I mean, it worked for us.
You guys got any final thoughts?
Shut up, Speccles.
Nathan? Oh my God, we've all got a thing.
Oh, my
Nathan,
mate.
shut up, Speckles.
He was going to say it before I did. That was a fuck.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, cool.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks a lot for all the support with Jet the Jug.
And for being so inclusive.